Going live,
We are
and
live.
yeah, and I want to start playing a little bit of music first. I can find the music thing on StreamYard.
Okay. Going to play your relaxing music again, are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna play some type of relaxing music. Here we go. And doesn't looks yeah, nobody's showing up on YouTube yet so far.
I think that might be a bit loud, Tim.
Okay, well
There you go.
so did you get anything new this week?
Yeah, I've got a few things to show. We can get to those a bit later. I've got loads of DVDs, but perhaps I'll only show half of them this week. Maybe I'll keep the other half till next week because there's so many. The whole stream would just be me showing DVDs. But yeah, I've got a few things, a couple of figures, some DVDs.
Lester's in the chat now, so I am going to drop the link for him.
Okie dokie.
And Gerard's there. Is a blue wrench.
Gerard?
Yeah, he's a wrench in the chat.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mod.
Hey, Gerard. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for
And
joining us.
We've got Andrew in the chat.
Andrew. Hello, sir. Good evening. Oh, yeah, okay. The chat's come up on my thing now. Hope you're all doing well on this fine Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon for some, Wednesday evening for others.
I'm going to stop the music now so I can... Yeah, I can see the chat room text now without music, so...
Huh.
I can pull up bits of the chat room text now.
Gerard. So how have you been, Tim? Have you been all right?
Yeah, I've been all right.
So you finally got your parcel last week after the stream?
Yeah, I got
Let's have a look at him.
The movie accurate Greedo from Custom Dan Solo.
Excellent. Good stuff.
So I pulled out my Kenner original, but yeah, I don't have the original again for the Kenner originals, but I can have them shoot it out, but this one's arm's a little bit loose on the original, so I have to hold up the arm just to get them to be pointing the guns right. Yeah, the Kenner original had the little circular closed hand with the hole for a gun on the left hand, while the Stan Solo has it on the right hand.
Oh, okay.
So pew 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 pew.
Who shot first, Greedo or Greedo?
Yes.
Oh, that was cool. Oh well, it's a shame he didn't arrive in time for the stream last week, but he's there now, so he can join your little army.
Yeah, I have the music turned off now, Andrew.
I received an item today, and it was wrapped up in this.
And you're not happy about that?
It was wrapped up in a picture of the Queen.
Yeah.
So So there we go. That was she was grinning up at me when I opened the box.
Okay, well, Lester's gonna be joining us now. Hi, Lester.
Hey guys,
Hello, Lester. How you doing, mate?
just relaxing on Hump Day. You know,
On a
that's
what
what we
day?
call it out here. I don't know what you guys call it in the UK. I mean, I don't know. I suppose Tim would call it Hump Day, but that's what we
Hump
usually call it.
day.
Yeah, I guess because in the middle of the week, it's just that you're in that middle portion of a week and with the camel's hump. I guess it's
Oh,
just
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think we have a name for that in the UK, not that I'm aware of. But Hump Day, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've been putting up a few video game streams. Like I said, I didn't picture myself being that, but I've noticed a lot of channels. Not that I'm looking for the traction. It's just apparently watching people game is a thing. Not
yeah.
not that, not there's anything wrong with it, especially if it's a game that I've never played before. You know,
Okay.
especially when I do these first time walkthroughs. Like, well, let's see if the game will run run well, and then what do I feel about my first impressions of the game, especially since a lot of the games you get are digital and they do come with a manual, but you got to dig for the manual, versus I I don't know what game systems you had growing up, but I remember going through every new game. Uh, Depending on the game, and if I was a big fan, I would get the manual and then not just look at the how to do stuff, but the art, the artwork that's done in the booklet.
Yeah.
I would go through that, but
Well,
a
many
lot of
games now
games,
don't come with a manual, do they? So,
not many, not many, especially since games have gone to digital. But I think I've told you guys about GOG.com, but it's just like that's been my goodie bag, my grab bag. I think that's what I called it back in the day with the ice cream trucks. I think it's a grab bag or something like that. Like one of those things you pay. Back in the day, it was like a quarter. You get a grab bag of stuff. So GOG has been my grab bag of games because they have a lot of stuff on sale. And then I've told people it also allows the use of pay in four from PayPal. So you pay for at minimum, you pay $30. You could pay that
yeah,
in four installments. Like, whoa, I can get a pack of games for $6 a chunk. I can do that.
yeah,
And GOG has plenty of games for like less than a buck. They also have ways you can keep an archive of the game. So if something were to happen, you could download the offline installer. They do have a companion app, but I'm not really fond of those companion apps. I want the if it's a exe whatever installation file, I'd rather have that than have everything in like a neat library in some companion app like Steam. Just because it's just another program for me to install, and I like knowing that I have my library at my fingertips. And then speaking of DVDs, I'm realizing I need to get going on buying a CD binder because my shelves are getting packed full of DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks. So I'm
mm,
looking to get a 300 some odd binder or something that I think it should hold my current collection for sure. If I get one of
right.
those 100 or 150, that should hold me okay. I don't need to put all of my boxes into the sleeve, like those TV show DVDs. I want to keep those together as much as I can. But if
Right.
anything like loose, put them in a binder. I guess I saved space because with the jackets or the cases, that can easily add up space. At least
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I'm
yeah.
looking at it. Yeah.
Well, I like looking at all the spines of all the different ones. So I can't really use that as an option for me. I mean, it certainly would save space, but I like looking at all the different titles rather than having to flick through a book. Um, and if I know that I've got something and I want to watch it, I can find it very quickly by eye. Whereas if they were in a binder, I think it would frustrate me flicking through them all. But it's certainly a good idea to save space. Jason.
Oops, wrong one. Here we go.
Excellent.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Cool.
More like Santa Claus,
Yeah, no, it's looking good, man. I think it's a good look. You're doing well with that. I think you should persevere until it's really long.
Oh no, that'd be
No, it's looking good, man. It suits you. It looks cool.
How are we all?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Not too bad. Not too bad.
That's good.
Can't complain. Can't complain. Had a very good had a very lucky week, or weekend, should I say, before last, when I managed to pick up the Super 7 Tila figure.
Yeah, you was very lucky, mate.
I know, that was incredible. I couldn't believe it. Honestly,
Makes you wonder if the person didn't do a research or they just bought a whole. Was there quite a lot of He-Man figures in there?
He had a lot of vintage Motu, but he didn't. He only had 2 Club Grayskull figures, Tila and Evil Seed, and I bought both of them. I haven't shown Evil Seed yet.
Right.
But the Tila figure was an absolute steal. I mean, 20 quid for that figure is bonkers. I think somebody made a mistake somewhere, or maybe he just. I don't know.
Does he have an online presence?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I honestly don't know how that figure was priced at 20 quid. Honestly, my jaw nearly hit the floor. In fact, my jaw is probably still on the floor of the shop, quite honestly, because that was remarkable. I honestly, I didn't expect that when I looked at the price ticket. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, and I keep having to pinch myself to remind myself that it is actually real and it did actually happen.
And how much was his vintage He-Man figures?
The vintage ones were about 30 quid each. But that Club Grayskull figure is very hard to come by. It hardly ever comes up on eBay, and when it does, it's always over 100 quid. I really got lucky that day, honestly, and to think I almost didn't go into the city.
Yeah. I bet now you're like, yes, I'm glad I went.
Yeah, that was really good. I also picked up in the shop. I picked myself up a Granny Gross.
Yeah, I had that when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah, that I didn't really collect the Ghostbusters line, but that was one I just had to have.
Yeah. Well, this is the first haunted human that I've got. I think I'm going to try and pick up the. Oh no! I tell a lie. I've got the American football player one, but I think I'm going to try and pick up the policeman. I'm going to try and pick him up. I think he's called X-Cop.
Yeah, I have seen the policeman one before. It's not a bad one.
Yeah, I'm going to try and pick him up, I think. Yeah, Andrew saying he's seen a review of the Snake Mountain on YouTube. He thinks the channel was called Needless Things. Well, I wouldn't say Snake Mountain was a needless thing. I've got mine on pre-order, but whether I'll get it this year or not remains to be seen.
Well, Dean's already got it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously he's shipping it.
Yeah.
Well, I believe he has already shipped it back. and because I was having a chat with him, well, on the thing like you was, and it just makes sense. You think it's more bigger than what he can send on that $400 and something. So it could be, he didn't say what the next rate was, so you're probably looking at $200.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, my opinion, send it back. I mean,
Yeah.
probably look nice, but when you're moving lock, stock, and barrel,
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to get mine, but whether it'll happen this year or not, don't know. I mean, I waited over a year for my Leech figure to arrive, and I've ordered it
ridiculous.
from the same place. So I
Right.
also ordered the Talon Fighter and Point Dread. I've ordered both those as well, but
And will they be coming out of the box?
no, I don't think so.
So that means
No,
you'll
and
never see the
I
figure that's inside it.
well, the thing is, I bought the Talon Fighter and Point Dread before I realised that it's a completely solid box. There's no window in it, so you can't actually see the toy inside. So that was a bit of a mistake because,
Ugh.
quite honestly, I don't really want to open it because I've got nowhere to
No.
display it.
So they've done a solid box for it.
Sorry.
So they've done a solid box.
Yeah, the artwork on it is good, but there's no window, and the toy isn't put together out of the box. So it's actually quite a small box, really. But I mean, it
So
looks
not like the
nice.
original then.
No.
I've seen pictures of the original, and it's actually all built. Well, I believe it's all built.
Yeah. Well, no, this one is the windowless packaging. Unfortunately, I didn't realise that when I pre-ordered it. I might not have bothered, but I wanted. It was something I'd always wanted as a kid to have the Talon Fighter, so I thought I'd treat myself now. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no window in the box. Look at Lester's picture. Look at Lester's picture. He's got shades on. He looks like one of the men in black.
No. Yeah. I thought, I haven't been spending because I've been saving. So on the weekend, I decided, thought, sod it, I'm going to treat myself. So
Okay.
I went on a certain website that we all know, and I got loads of things coming. I've got now. I've got the Sky. Let's see if I can get the name right. Sky Striker coming.
Yeah.
It's missing a couple bits, but I got it for a basically still £30.
Oh, nice.
And it's missing, I think, about 5 bits. So it's not bad, and I'll see if I can get them parts.
Okay. Is it like missing the what's it missing? The canopy and the missiles and stuff?
No, canopies there, the missiles are there. What it is missing, and I'm not going to do that finger, is one wheel, well, the whole wheel complex. So weird how they lost the whole wheel and the strut and everything on the back. It's missing one flap where the wheel goes in.
Okay.
And then on the other side, obviously the right side up, it's missing one cover for obviously some electronics. And then it's missing 2 very important bits, the fins on the back.
Oh, no.
Is. But I will have a little shout out. If I'm lucky, maybe George will get in touch with me and I might be able to get some bits off him or somebody else,
Yeah, it might take you a little while to track the bits down, but I think it'll be worth doing.
I bet you for the price, a complete one,
yeah.
vintage ones, I had a look on there. The about 100.
Yeah.
I did it. I sniped like the last 5 seconds. I went, right, how much do I want to pay for it? Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Andrew's asking if I'm going to unbox Snake Mountain. Let's all have a think and decide what the answer might be.
No. If I was getting I wasn't interested in Snake Mountain. The only castle I'm interested in is actually the original, the new Castle Grayscale, because it's basically a copy of the original.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. And what I've seen now, I mean, I've got to. I'll say the next month I've got to press that button for it finally all sells out on places, and then I'll never get it, and then I'll end up getting the original for probably about £40 more, but it won't come with no figure. So
right. So you don't have Castle Grayskull at all at the moment?
nah.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the Origins one is a pretty good substitute.
Yeah.
Snake Mountain's quite a bit different to the original, though.
Yeah, I've seen.
They've
and
taken
I
away
was
the
never
voice
really
changer.
interested. I just like the idea of the castle with the figures I've got, because I'm doing a new. At some point, you will see there's a new area coming into my living room. I'm making some room.
Oh, okay.
Basically, my armchair is getting out of here.
Oh.
And basically, I'm putting shelves in, sort of like what Luke done, but not the same sort of standards. There'd be
Okay.
hanging shelves. Hanging shelves.
Yeah.
Invisible shelf, but you don't see the brackets.
Yeah. Floating shelves.
Yeah, floating shelves. Thank you. So yeah, that's where basically all my Action Force stuff will move over to there, and then because I've worked out there's going to be quite a lot of room over there once I do this, and then the He-Man stuff might be coming out of the bedroom and going into there, but then I am going to start on my Lego collection again.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I'm going to probably start getting the Star Wars stuff, and I've got the Batman stuff. So, and I've looked at the last two that came out. They've got the new Batman, the back wing, where it's from the original 1989 movie.
Yeah,
so, I want to get that. And at the moment, how all my stuff is stored or on display, I've got no room for my Lego. It's like, right, where can I put it? I'll put it there, sort of thing. So
yeah,
I mean, so with that going, it should be good. And I've also got some cards coming, basically the back of, like Star Wars, the back of where the figure came on.
Yeah.
I've actually got a one again. I didn't snipe. I put a bid on, and I did not think I would actually win it. I really thought somebody else would bought them because they've still got the blisters on, but all the weapons, the weapon packs, card backs.
Right.
So I thought someone might have bought them to put the weapons back in, but no. I think I am paid £5. So I think all the gear, including post packing, is like £9.
Right,
and it's like, I think 5.
Wow.
It's all a whole different. Basically, I really know where it might be a change now, because where I want to put the Action Force stuff, I'm going to have to work out where the card's going. But one thing did turn up today, and I have also ordered something now. So it's because a friend of ours mentioned it, and that would be next week. But I have got, don't know if you can see, I have got.
Oh, cool. Hold on, there's a flying
Buttons.
thing in my. I just need to go and deal with the flying thing in my room. But
Oh,
carry on, carry on. I can still hear you.
yeah. I've picked up about 10 to 15 Britons. So I've got the British Army and I've got the American Army.
Okay, cool.
So if our friend Dean was on, I'm hoping me and him are not going against each other without realising, because I know he's actually after these as well.
I think Retro Toy Guy Sai would be interested in those as well.
So, and these I also think they've actually got a bit of extra paint detail on.
Okay.
I do. So yeah, I've got literally about 15.
Santara says I've got bats flying throughout the room. No, bats. I'd be more than happy if there was a bat in here. I love bats. No, this was a long-legged flying winged thing. I don't know what it was, but
Not a Danny Longleg then.
well, I don't really know what you would call it, but it was very large, had many legs and some wings. So yeah, I had to deal with that. I don't know where it came from because all my windows are closed today. So
probably a mosquito eater.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this thing was.
Thank you, Gerard. I don't know where they're going to go yet either. I've been looking at them, and I'll probably, before I find a home for them, I'll probably will get the full sets, and I think the full sets is only like 6 or 8 in a set. So you got American Army, you got the German, but obviously you got different versions like 8th Army, and I had them all as a kid as well. So
yeah,
I saw it down the auction today, and I didn't put a bid on it, but I got to admit, I now wished I had. They actually had a Cowboy Street.
Oh, cool.
It was about how long's a foot? No, that's too short. Well, it's a bit harder, I'll say it's about half as long of a decaf cabinet. So basically 2 shelf long, if you know how long a decaf cabinet is. So, it's quite nice long. And I got to admit, I then saw some Britain's Cowboys and Indians on eBay today, and I was like, no, they would have gone cool in that.
Oh.
You had them outside, sort of like a little. I thought, yeah, I was thinking, should have put a bid on that. Because I wouldn't be surprised if that was built. It did look not professionally made, but it was still really good.
Yeah.
So I reckon that it looks like probably 80s. I reckon it was, or 70s, made for the Britons and so the Cowboy Indians that we used to have in the day for it. So,
yeah,
but I didn't. So that's history.
You let that one get away, did you?
No, so yeah, I mean, quite good. My cat's out, so don't know what time she'll come back tonight. She better come early because let's say I've got in the habit now that I don't sleep when she's not in. I have to have my window open, and when she comes in, the window gets shut. So I can't sleep with the window open these days. So even though I can cat nap, but it's like last night, the little moo came in about 1 o'clock, and it was like, right, well, I can shut window now. I can go back to sleep now. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Lester's back.
So
yeah,
Tim, Lester was talking earlier on about gaming. Did you ever do any gaming as a youngster?
I went to the arcade occasionally, and then I had a CDI.
Okay.
What's wrong, Lester?
I remember that. That's the Philips thing. It was called CDI because it was supposed to be CD interactive.
Yeah,
So-
CD compact disc interactive. It was like it was video games. It was movies. So this was pre-DVD, so you could get movies to watch on it as well.
Right. A lot of the hardware, very innovative, but it's like it's such a roll of the dice. You think you got something cutting edge, but there's no hook, or at least a well done hook that make a kid at least go, "Mom, Dad, I need that." Nintendo was different because it was accessible. Like once I played Duck Hunt, I want that. You know, no matter how quirky the game is or was, it was like it was just something that you got a chuckle out of because you got the ducks flying away, quacking, and then you got the dog laughing at you whenever you didn't make a hit. So
yeah.
Speaking of the games I did play, I didn't expect it, but I played my first run through of a game called Beat Cop, and it's like a throwback game where the game is intentionally pixel based. It's like they call it 11-bit design or something like that, but it looks very clean, and it's very it's well done, and it does take you back to like the basic side scroller, but it's a very point and click kind of game. And I had to actually put a restriction on it because even though it doesn't say anything warning wise through the voice, but in the very opening moments of the game, there's a good number of choice words thrown out in the dialogue bubbles. So I had to deliberately. I usually say not for kids, but I knew right away this one is likely only for anyone 18 or older because yep. And there are some references there that wouldn't be for a kid's eyes. Like you're running the beat of 1980s New York, and and everything that comes with it. So you think about all the shops, especially ones of questionable nature. Robbery is happening, and you get the trappings of the 80s mob. So yeah, I right away I had to restrict it, but there have been some takers on that video. So to my surprise, I was like, okay. And then trying to think another one. I played a throwback game called Star Wars Dark Forces. And
remember that?
It's really taking me back to the not the Duke, but Doom and Wolfenstein days. And I did my very first walkthrough, and I had tons of fun. Just like I'm as bad as the stormtroopers here because there was no crosshair in that game. And I once I found where I can map my controls, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to this game and play it for real. But they referenced the character right away, Kyle Katarn. Like, oops, I made a side comment about canon. Like, oh, so that's what they were, the GTA of old.
I gotta admit,
that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, Gerard.
It's a shame they haven't remade any of them old Star Wars games that came on the Xbox. And
Oh,
so, what are
yeah.
we talking? 20 years ago now that Xbox came out.
I
Got
might,
to
have, I might have to look for a very specialized set of software or gaming software that I used to do in the early 2000s.
be.
Might have to get back into that because I did that, something of that nature with regards to one of the games I did purchase, just because the way the games of today are, you can't get the physical media with the actual game on the disc. It's you're paying for the license, or dare I say, the privilege to play the game rather than the right to owning the game. So
Yeah.
and nowadays I'm coming across the term physical media to not just mean CDs, books, but in the realm of pew pew life, I found I got the physical media that would allow me to virtually train myself with my Le Pew Pew. So I don't know. People say that. Oh, what's that one from, Tim? I see you got looks like toys of similar kind.
Yeah, this is the Kenner original with the custom or reproduction gun, and then this is the Stan Solo custom movie accurate Greedo.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I've got two of them, but the original holds the gun in the left hand, while the custom holds it in the right hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew about how poorly executed, poorly written a Snorka is, but I had the fortune of accessing the show through another content provider, and looks like it's on Tim's side because I think we did our best to do a Riff Tracks version of that episode because if it's going to be that bad, we got to make it so bad it's so good by our side comments from the peanut gallery, because every moment we're like, wait, she speaks that animal's language now? What? I thought she was force sensitive. Couldn't Jedi feel the presence of another force sensitive person?
I don't think she's a real Jedi, though.
Well, don't get me started. I'm not sure if Ahsoka is a real Jedi herself. Wink, wink, nod, nod. I'm just saying.
She's basically a grey. Or, technically, being that Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker finally finished her training off the episode before, she's now classed as a Jedi. So, but yeah, I mean, there is all different things.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where the villains, like even something was brought up about how Disney seems to take on this idea that they want to make things episodic rather than cinematic. That made me think about a sign of possible, a sign of possible Cobra Kai envy. I don't know why, but
Cobra Kai envy.
Because Cobra Kai was like a way you do a spin-off or a reboot. But they did it right.
Because I can't watch it. Cobra Kai, I can't watch. I couldn't even watch one episode.
Oh, I think you should give it another try, man. It's all right. I mean, it's not the best, but it's
I watched all the Karate Kids back in the day, but that I just couldn't.
Well, I would say watch the first season when it was on YouTube. Oh, wow. Red? Do any of you remember YouTube Red?
Yeah, that didn't last long, did it?
Sadly, it didn't. Google likes to kill things a little too early. Whatever, right? But
just want to say hello to Luke. He's just dropped in the chat. He might not be able to stay for long, but good evening, Luke.
Hello.
I also just want to draw attention to the fact that Gerard O'Connor has said regarding the visitor that I had in the living room. Gerard has said that long legs and wings flapping about means him leaving the room or even the house. So there we go. Gerard's outed himself as a pansy. That's fine. I'm one as well. I'm just waiting for the moment a great big spider runs across my floor, because last autumn it happened to me. I think definitely 2 times, if not 3 times, during a live stream. A great massive spider came running out across my living room floor, and I had to go and dispatch it.
Yes, you did, didn't you? Who
Oh,
was
that
you
was.
on Dean's? Was you on Dean's one? Because you got
Oh,
you got some flack, didn't you? Yeah.
I did.
How
Yeah, I got a
dare
little bit of
you
hassle.
kill that?
I
Yeah.
can't. Oh, I can't cope with them. Unfortunately, if I was to try and trap it to
Oh
take it
no, no, no.
outside, I'd be sick all over myself. I'm so petrified of them.
I'll be scared it'll come back.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I just.
I would literally have to throw the whole thing I put in and throw it as far as possible.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
it won't
No,
jump out at me. I
honestly.
mean, you must have seen the YouTube videos where they try trapping and and you know when they're so stupid. So it's like, oh, let's have a look in there, see if I. And I'm thinking, why? You know it's just take it out and then
Yeah, I
boom,
can't.
throw.
Honestly, I can't cope with it. There was a massive spider in my bedroom. I think the week before last, and I'll tell you how big it was. That I heard it walking across my skirting board. I
No.
heard this scratching noise, and I thought, "What is that?" And I wondered if it was a moth that had caught in my lampshade or something, because I could hear
Yeah.
this scratching noise. And then I looked down, and it was a massive spider crawling. It was going towards the underneath of my bed, and I had nothing to hit it with, so I karate chopped it.
Oh.
I had to. There was nothing else to hand, and if I'd have got up to get something to whack it
It
with,
was gone.
it would. And if it had run under my bed, I'd have had to burn the house down.
See, that's where I'm semi-lucky now with having a cat. That since I've had a cat, touch wood or fingers crossed, I don't. Whoa, nearly. I don't see a lot of them at all.
So the cat takes care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My cat's a bit too old now. She wouldn't be quick enough to catch them.
Right.
Luke is saying he enjoyed Cobra Kai for the first couple of seasons, but eventually he found it just too hard to watch. Plus, he says that Johnny would never join forces with Daniel. Okay. I mean, yeah, it did tail off. The first couple of seasons were good. It started to tail off a little bit after that, but I did still enjoy it. It was all right. Yeah, not bad. Gerard saying, "How dare I?" Well, it's okay. I feel that I can kind of take the mick out of you a little bit, Gerard, because I'm exactly the same. With spiders and things like that, I can't bear them. They make me shake and feel physically sick. Gerard saying he gave up on Resi 2 as soon as the giant tarantulas showed up. Yeah, that was pretty horrendous. Yeah.
What about as we got onto spiders and films? What about 8 Legs Freaks?
Oh yeah, that's good. I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
First bit of it when they're normal size. No.
Santara's saying, am I living on Kong Island? Spiders loud enough to make noises while walking. Honestly, it was unbelievable. It was just such a strange noise it was making, but it was its feet on the skirting board. I could hear it. Oh, what's that? Giant spider invasion?
Oh, I remember that. Is that the? 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 Is William Shatner one.
No, you're thinking of Kingdom of the Spiders.
Yeah.
This is a different one.
Right. Was that 1950s?
No, this is another 70s one.
Right.
Cool.
But this has Alan Hale Jr. from Gilligan's Island is in this.
Right.
This was on MST3K.
Oh, was
Mystery
it?
Science Theater 3000.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't have that in the UK, so that's a
No,
bit
we
of a
only
new
had,
thing to us.
we only had a couple episodes, I think. Literally, you just saw it on some lates, really.
Yeah.
Like
we never
Rowie's
got.
specials.
Yeah, we didn't get the full run of them, did we?
Nah.
No. Right, shall we get to the bits that I've picked up this week?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
How do you feel about that, guys?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and Nick, Action Pop Dad's joining us now. Hi, Nick.
Ah,
Hello, how are you all? I just thought I'd pop in and say
Hey,
hey,
Nick.
because I'm
How you
free.
doing, buddy? How you doing?
Yeah, I
Good,
didn't.
man, I'm good.
I
Cool.
didn't know
I was
you were
about to
that
show
light
some stuff that I've
skinned
picked up this week, but
or more
actually, as
tan.
you've arrived now, maybe you can tell us what you've been up to. What's new in the world of APD?
Not a lot. I mean, very boringly, I bought myself a new laptop so I could do YouTube on it because I've been
Okay.
working off of a phone and a Chromebook and it's rubbish.
Mm.
I'm going to a Comic-Con on Saturday.
Oh, what one's that?
Which one's that?
Shepton Mallet
Oh,
in Somerset.
yeah.
Good old Dorset. Well, not Dorset, actually, it's Somerset, but close to Dorset, where I'm from.
Mhm.
And I've been playing a ridiculous amount of Tomb Raider. That's my life. I'm working.
Oh, cool. Okay. The first one, or
I completed
Pardon
the
me.
first one a few weeks ago. I've got about 4 levels to do on the second one, but because I got this computer set up, I started Tomb Raider. Is it Chronicles? Hated it, so I've gone back to playing Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation, which I completed as a kid, and I just
Mhm.
realising as I get older, I'm just worse at computer games. I don't
yeah,
think I have the coordination anymore
yeah,
or
I'm the same.
patience.
I think
Yeah,
if you carry
yeah.
on playing, you get better. But I think when you have breaks, you seem to forget.
Mm,
I find.
that's
Well,
For
there you
maybe.
me,
go,
I
Nick.
don't really play much.
There's some advice for you, Nick. You've got to play it more.
Mm.
So I'm gonna tell my wife that tomorrow and say that's the resolution.
Don't tell it came from me. Don't tell it
I-
came from me.
No, you said it, dude. You said it.
Yeah,
You can't.
yeah.
There's
No,
no.
I heard you
There's
as
no
well,
take
Jason.
backs.
Yeah, I heard you.
I'm gonna say Jason of the YouTube said I need to play my computer more.
Yeah,
And
to say he
he knows.
travels with Jason, but no air, then the other bloke will get the blame for it. That's why I changed my YouTube to travels and more, because there's some other guy with travels with Jason. And it was like, yeah, how dare you have
Well,
my
Nick,
name?
Luke's saying that he's off now that you've come on.
Oh,
Mr.
that's not
Reynolds.
Look
nice,
what you've
Luke.
done.
That's not
Look what
nice.
you've done.
I phoned Luke on. I think I had a good hour chat with Luke on Friday. We had a right old conflab. It was lovely. And now he does this. He betrayed me.
Mm.
He sold you out.
He has. He sold me out, hasn't he? Sorry. So sorry just to jump in and shouldn't you? If you just do your thing, I'm happy just to sit back and you know.
No, you're more than welcome.
It's nice to see you.
Well, you know, and I thought I'd wear a vest because every time I come on a live stream with Tim, for some reason, I'm always wearing a vest.
Yeah, you're always showing off your tattoos, but I thought you were more suntanned with the tattoos.
Oh, sun and tattoos don't go well together, Tim.
Oh, they don't?
No, you
No.
see, so what they don't tell you when you have lots of them done, when you're young and you think you're cool and you think this is a good idea, it's a terrible idea. What they don't tell you is when you go in the sun, all the outlines and everything, it's like they pop up when the skin gets hot. It's like they pop. You can
Yeah.
almost feel it, or it's quite
Yeah.
unpleasant, really.
I
So
quite
you
like
sort of,
that. I quite like it.
So you
I
don't
know.
shed the tattoo image at all. You start to tan and then have to have it redone.
Well,
No, I mean, some of these tattoos are 20 odd years old, and I think they're holding up pretty well.
yeah.
But then I don't go out in the sun because I don't want to burn them. So, you know,
Yeah.
on one hand, if you get a load of tattoos done, you cut your chances down of bad skin from the sun. So you can do that. That's my
Yeah.
excuse. I'm sticking with it.
I quite like it when they go all raised. I think that I quite like that.
My
But I
sister,
tend to keep mine out of the sun as much as possible. Really, if it's a sunny day, I'll just cover mine up because I mean they're faded enough. I mean, like you, Nick, mine are sort of 20, 25 years old. So they have started to fade a little bit. But I
I mean,
plan on getting that. I've got another 5 that I haven't booked it in yet, but I've got another 5 that I'm getting done. Hopefully, end of this year, beginning of next year.
do you not find they? So I'm not gonna put you off food for a week and take my top off, but I'm very covered. I'm very covered.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. There's gaps between which I need to fill. It's like this, which I can't work out on this camera. This arm here, it's only like one big piece and a bit of filling in of being a complete sleeve. But I find
Right.
as I get older that they hurt more and more. I mean, I know some people say I enjoy the pain. I don't enjoy pain, but it's almost like as I've got older, they've got worse. It's like hangovers. Hangovers get worse as you get older. Tattoos, I feel like the pain of them gets worse as you get older. Like, and it's like
Well, I
going to the
haven't.
dentist. That hurts more when you're older. Everything hurts more. Your back hurts more.
It's because we're getting
Well, I
old,
haven't
mate.
had tattoos now for about. I think the last one I had was maybe 15 years ago. So I'm hoping they don't get more painful.
Back in
But
the
I mean, it's okay. I didn't mind the pain. I I think the one thing about tattoos that nobody tells you is that they're addictive. Um, and no
I
one
mean,
told me when I got my first tattoo that I would be getting hooked immediately.
I'm quite fortunate in that I spent 10 years in a metal band with, which is still one of my very good friends, and he was a tattooist. So
Oh, cool.
I had a lot of my tattoos done when we were drunk. I have, I think combined, I've paid less than £2,000 for all of my tattoos, and it's not crap work either. I've got some decent stuff on me. I mean, it's all very dark and because I was trying to be cool and edgy, which I'm not. But I was lucky in that sense. It never really cost me too much. But
Oops.
I
There
don't
we are.
I don't know. See, my sister, she's just had a tattoo done, and it glows, and it like you can shine UV on it, and
Oh,
like
yeah. Yeah,
she's
I've got a
going.
jester on my arm here, like an evil court jester, and his eyes have been done in UV ink, so that if you shine a light on his eyes, glow. It's rather silly. You can't tell just by looking at it, but yeah, it does. It does shine up in UV.
No, you see, I don't think it's silly. I mean, why not? I mean, in 100 years' time, it's all going to be a laugh. We're all going to be dead and gone. It's not going to matter. It's just you've done it. Be happy with it,
Well, there's a sobering thought for all of us.
Did you?
It's something my granddad always used to say. Sorry.
As we talked about tattoos, do you ever remember a quite low budget film? I can't remember what it's called. Where they went from our universe to another parallel Earth, and where basically what we were talking about before about spiders, but in that Earth, no one ever had tattoos. It was never invented.
Okay.
Tim remembers. He's nodding his head. And
No, I don't remember. I'm just listening. That just means I'm listening to you.
I'm just listening. I don't remember what it's called, but it was a quite good little film. There was basically most of the human population's being killed off, and the only reason why they knew that these people from another Earth was because a couple of them had tattoos, and they were like, "What are they?"
Okay.
That it was and I don't know what it was called. It was a low budget, basically, to a different parallel Earth, where basically they wanted to invade us. But yeah, it's quite low budget.
Oh,
If you can find out the name, I'll give it. If we can find out the name, I'll give it a watch.
yeah. Gerard's saying he used to manage a tattoo parlor, so he became quite the test subject. And he also said he's got another tattoo this week. I think, if I remember correctly, he got a tattoo of the Simpsons Millhouse. Is that right, Tim? Is that what you said last week?
I don't know if it was him, but
yeah, I think he said he got Millhouse last week. Okay. On his, I think he said it was on his leg. And he said he's had another one yesterday.
Oh wow, fair play. I spent, because my friend having a tattoo shop. Another thing I used to do to if I didn't have money at times, you got to bear in mind I started getting tattooed when I was like 18.
Yeah.
Another thing I used to do, not that I ever paid a lot for any of them, but if I worked in the shop, like helping out, like, so I can set up the equipment and everything. I used to like put all the stuff in the ultrasonic and then pack it all up and put it in the sterilizer. But like, it's all changed now because my mate, most of the stuff's all disposable now. Like all the nibs, the grips, and everything. Because it's like he said, when he first started tattooing, he used to have to like physically like solder and make the needles. But now you just buy them.
I was gonna say when I first got my first tattoo, the shop was still doing that. They were soldering a fresh set of needles in each time.
And that's really not that long ago. I mean, you going back, they were doing that at the start of when I started getting tattooed. But like I say, it's just, they just all come in like sterile packs now, don't they? And even the grips are just like white. They put them on, and they bin. Which, you know, to be fair, I know it creates waste, but I don't know if it's recyclable or not. I've never asked the question, but it just cuts out any of that. I mean, my friend's shop was always impeccably clean. I mean, I've cleaned it for him a few times, but it just, I guess, with the disposable stuff now, at least if you get people who's perhaps if their standards aren't as good as they could be, it's it's another element of protection for people, because you can't mess about with it, can you? I mean, it's open wounds and needles.
Yeah. Well, it changed a lot since my first tattoo, because I got mine done as soon as I was 18. The first thing I did when I turned 18 was go and book a tattoo, because there was only one tattoo shop in Norwich at the time. There's loads now. There must be about 30 now, but there was only one at the time, and they were asking for ID. You couldn't just go in there and get it done. You needed to take in some sort of a proof of age.
My friend's shop was always super strict, because it's a bit of a weird business in the UK. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him about it for a while, but it sort of fell into a weird zone because the council and the environmental health used to try and regulate it, but they didn't really have the infrastructure to regulate it, so to speak. It was all, there was a lot of learning being done, but of course they implemented all the things like no cross contamination, which is obvious, but you know, if you think back now, like when last time you went in the tattoo shop, when I first started going, you never used to see all the covers down the clips to like the machines. You never saw any of that. And they used to spray everything down with alcohol. Now they got all these different sanitizers where they have to spray it, wait however many minutes. It's moved on good. But I'll shut up.
The whole industry has come on quite a lot, quite a long way really in the past few years. Nick, have you got any red ink?
Red doesn't sit well on me. It always goes pink and crappy. It heals really badly on me. I had a load of red done up here.
When did you get that done? How many years ago did you get that done?
This here was probably about 17 years ago.
Yeah, that would
17, 18 years ago.
They've changed. What used to happen with back around, well, since forever really. The pigments that they were using in red inks were you would often get a reaction in the
Yeah,
person.
I used to get like
Um,
little lumps, and you could squeeze like little
Yeah.
balls of plastic out of it as it healed.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. They've changed the regulations now, and the red inks that they're using are a lot safer than they used to be. Um,
Oh, that's good to
because
know. I might get that bit recolored then, because it's literally like pink now, but red.
yeah, you can
Like
get a list of
that
the
went wrong.
ingredients. If you go to the tattooist and ask them and say, "Can I see the ingredients that you've got in your red inks?" They'll show you a list, and you can do the research and find out if the inks they're using have still got those reactive pigments in them.
No
Because
word of a
the
lie. Sorry.
because the next at least 3 of the next 5 tattoos that I'm going to get done have got a lot of red in them, and I was worried about that reaction. So I called up the tattooist and said, I'm a bit concerned about this, because I want some images done that have got a lot of red in them, and I'm concerned about a reaction. And they said no, they've actually changed the regulations now, and and most red tattoo inks now don't have that pigment in.
Oh, that's good, because like I say, no word of a lie. All the red, basically, all the like pores raised up, and
Right.
for years you could like squeeze them, and you get these little solid white little, almost like little perfectly formed round, like they were. It was a reaction. It was your body reacting and
Yeah.
rejecting the pigment
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it contained. I don't know if it's the pigment but whatever made it up. I mean, and the top of my arm here. I mean, this is a reference to an Electric Wizard song, but
Okay.
that went horrible, and that was really embarrassing. I had this tattoo done as a reference to a band I loved, and then I ended up joining a band with the drummer from that band because he
Oh,
left
bloody
them.
hell.
I can remember going to the practice, and he's like, "Have you got Scorpio curse on your arm?" I was like, "Yes, but I'm not going to fanboy you."
Gerard's confirming that the red inks are no problem these days.
Mm.
I mean, it was the case that sometimes you would get red ink done, and it wouldn't affect you for maybe a year or 2 down the road, and then suddenly you would get a reaction to it. So it was quite a concerning color for a while.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I mean, when
think,
I
I mean,
sorry,
some tattoos in some countries, they really are looked on different. I mean, you look at Japan, I mean, they still see tattoos in some, I don't know how much now, but they still see tattoos like with gangs. It's
Yeah,
that. I mean, you
yeah.
can't go in a
Tattoos were
lot of the
very much
public
linked.
baths,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's quite interesting where how some countries see tattoos. I mean,
yeah,
every
yeah.
time
New
I see a
Zealand has
tattoo,
issues,
I
doesn't
think
it?
it's art. I look and I think, especially when it's good, I think, oh,
Well,
because I can't stand the pain. But I look
oh,
at all the tattoos that I see on people and I go, yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh,
well, the
that's
tattoos
pucker.
that for a long time in Japan were seen. They were really only seen on the yakuza.
Hmm.
Um, but I
Doesn't
think
New
it's
Zealand have problems as well with gang culture and stuff? And that because I saw something on YouTube a while back where some guy, I don't want to get it wrong, was it some Maori guy or something? He went into an
yeah,
Australian restaurant and they were like, "Nah, you got to go." And there was a big report about it, and they were like,
Mm.
"Look, we just had so much gang culture here. Like the tattoos that you're sporting, albeit it may not be that, but they resemble that, and we just have a complete
yeah,
no. You're not coming in," because people were like going in having proper gang fights and tearing places up.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the Maori and yeah, there is a lot of. I mean, there's a tradition of a lot of face tattooing with the Maori,
Yeah, this guy
and
had it
sort
down
of
his face and
Polynesian.
everything.
Yeah, and Polynesian stuff. Some of the artwork is amazing, though. Some of the Polynesian styles are really, really nice. I'd love to get a Polynesian sleeve done, but unfortunately, I've kind of used up most of my available space now. So,
Mm.
um,
Well, Soldier Corden has found out what the name of that film was. He had to
yeah,
use Google, and it's called Webs.
webs. webs.
Yeah.
An electrical crew stumbles into a parallel universe dominated by a mutated spider. Okay.
Mm. And what is it? What's the scale? 3.8 on the.
3.8 on IMDb.
I'm in. Because I tell you what, some of the best films. It's like Bubba Hotep. Everyone told me it was
Oh,
an
that's a brilliant film. That is.
an amazing film. There's
Mhm.
it is absolute best. So
Mhm.
you got to
Yeah.
ignore some of these ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
quality.
mean,
That's
him is an
quality. That was
elderly
done by the same-
Elvis.
Yeah.
And he's
That was
with
that
Jet.
was
Is it
what was the name of the
JFK?
director of that film?
Thinks.
It was the same guy that did Phantasm, wasn't it? I've forgotten the guy's name now.
Oh, I have. But let me just Google it.
Yeah, Bubba Hotep was great. You've got the powerful Bruce Campbell chin.
Mhm.
Don Coscarelli.
Don Coscarelli. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, good film. Very, very weird.
Mm.
Great. If anyone in the chat hasn't seen that film, if you read any, it's got a massive cult following. But if you read any reviews of "Girl," it's terrible. It's not terrible. It's. So
Yeah.
I don't even. If anyone has,
Worth a
the
look.
problem is if anyone hasn't seen it, I don't want to talk too much about it because it will
Mhm.
ruin it.
Yeah, no, just go and check out Bubba Hotep.
Oh
That's
yeah, it's a
good
brilliant film. When did that come out? That must be what?
Let me have a look.
90s.
2002.
early
Oh,
2000.
well,
Yeah.
still 20 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. 21 year. That's mental, isn't it?
I know. I saw something else a couple of days ago. They were talking about. I can't think. It was on one of them 10 things you didn't know about a certain film. I can't remember what
Oh.
it was now.
Not Minty
And
Comedic Arts video, was it?
Oh, was it Minty?
who?
Was it
Yeah,
Minty?
Minty. Yeah, Minty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, God, that is 22 years old now. I was like, oh my God. Is it really that old? So we all watch Minty then.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
watch
everyone watches
Minty.
Minty.
Minty is one of
Andrew's-
those guys, right? I love his content, but he slightly drives me mad, but I love his content. Did you get what I mean by that? He
Yes, I
drives
do.
me a bit mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Andrew's
and that's not
saying
me
that you'd be-
slagging him off. He's
Nah.
just
No,
got
no.
that way.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen Minty, but I heard about him from Retro Blasting. I think a while back he wanted to
I'll tell
do
you what,
some sort
credit
of
where credit's
collaboration.
due.
Oh.
He puts in the
Retro blasting.
research. He does put in the research.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
He's
doubt
got,
about it.
yeah, he
When I
does
first
a
ever
lot of
watched him,
research.
when I first ever watched him, I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then
Mhm.
you get hooked in. And
Yes.
I really don't mean it derogatory when I say he slightly does my head in. It's just sometimes he'll say stuff and you're like, what are you on about, Minty? But then his content is so good and grabbing. It's like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's hard to explain. If you haven't seen him, I'm not slagging the guy off. His content
No.
is brilliant. His channel is huge. He's done brilliantly, and I watch his stuff frequently.
Well, I missed
You
him
guys
up
get what
London.
I mean, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
He was over London early this year, wasn't he?
Yeah,
was he?
yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, he did a video in
and
London.
I was up London the day before he was up London, and I was like, if only I could have bumped into you while I'll be like, hang on a moment, is that a wife? No, it can't be. He's in New Zealand. That can't be him. Then you go on Facebook later. Hey, hang on a moment, it was him.
Yeah. Well, you can
Yeah.
tell him by them big old bins he always wears.
Mm.
I'm glad I'm not the only person who sort of watches him and goes, "You're brilliant," but he's not. It's just his style. I think it's a. It may not be, but it's almost like he's got this amazing character, which is sort of like, "Oh, Minty, why did you say that?" And then you're like,
Mhm.
but you laugh.
Yeah, there's
It's
one
like-
guy I when everything started back, I think 2019 to 2020. I can't remember when I started watching more of YouTube stuff, and I find a bit more about the toys and Star Wars, but I didn't find retro blasting at that time. I found a certain person that caused a lot of trouble later on, and it's not art, you know. And I was watching his, and he always has Star Wars in his name for a while. I don't want to give that person any, but you probably know who I'm talking about.
I think we all know exactly who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching the editing. That's why I don't really do a lot of editing in mine, because I was watching these editing, and I was like, really? It's so bad. You just repeated 2 words because you couldn't do a proper edit, and I'm like, and it wasn't like that whole episode. You can tell he's cocked up more than once, and it was like, nah, I can't watch you. You know.
But Jason, have you found? Now, I'm not gonna my editing when I edit. That's fine. I mean, I've moved over to podcast now, which it will be coming back. It's just summer holidays and stuff. We had to take a break till I got my tech sorted, which I've only just got sorted because it was really causing issues. But I'm not. My editing is as simple as it gets, and it is simple and crisp. That's what I want because I'm learning this. But even with that, do you find you watch some videos? And I'm not saying you pick out bad stuff, but you spot so much more. I spot more stuff now. I'm like, they've. You can tell when they've like, oh, I reckon they might have said something wrong there, because you can almost tell when they've just sort of packed the audio.
You can sometimes, yeah.
You never see it before.
Yeah, and you know the reason why I think that is? Because what we do, it's part of us as well now, isn't it? So it's sort of thing.
And everyone does it. So again, it's not a criticism, but you just spot little transitions, little, like when you see that tiny, that minuscule little like blur on the screen, you're like, they've chopped a section out there and stuck it together, or they speak and they create a pause, and you're like, oh, they've cut something out there. It might have said it might have been talking, gone, like we all do, and gone, and he's cut that out. Or she or whoever.
The thing is, I put bits like that in deliberately in my videos. I do all my videos in one take, but sometimes I'll get, like on Skeletor's channel, I'll finish one set of questions, and then before I move on to the next set of questions, I'll actually deliberately put in a transition effect to make it look like the video's cut, although actually I haven't cut the video. I put that in deliberately because I use it as a visual...
secrets, are you now?
Yeah. Well, I use it as a visual cue, you see, because once one person's set of questions is finished, I then put this little flicker in, or a little bit of fuzz, or some kind of effect in there as a visual cue that set of questions is finished, and that there's a new set of questions coming. So I actually put in those. I fabricate those cut scenes deliberately.
What do you think on my last one I've done? It's the first time I've used effects. But because obviously I was doing what's the best of the first 12 Star Wars figures, and every time I showed the next one, I showed like some flames. It's like it was a ring, so it suddenly appeared. I mean, it looked good, but I don't know how good it looked to people. I mean, I thought it looked good, but
well, I think it can be useful to use. I mean, movement catches the eye, so anything where you can almost bring back someone's visual attention, I think works well. Which is why I do it frequently through my videos. I don't do it on my channel so much, but I certainly do it on Skeletor's channel.
To what Jason just said there, I've just literally started using a new editor. I've paid the fee for the year, and it's hello, and
I made you solo.
Made me solo, yeah. And basically, I found an effect last night in it where it creates flames. And what I did was I managed to transition it over my AP. It's just a test edit. It's just old footage I've put together so I can learn how to use this editor. And I made it at the beginning, so my APD logo, it actually like went hollow and was flames, and then it transitions out, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I mean, it looked really cheesy, but I thought that's pretty cool because, like, you know, like you say, that little bit of movement can just catch the eye, or just because I mean, I haven't done a produced video for probably 6 months now. The last one me and Kim did was the podcast, but that's a different ball game altogether, because that's actually, we put it on YouTube, so because of the APD channel, but
Yeah.
the edit of it on YouTube is actually different to the edit we put on Spotify. Because on Spotify, so for instance, when you're watching it we pre-record it, but when you watch it on YouTube and you see me go, you can see me doing that, so you understand why there's a pause. But when you're listening to it on Spotify, because there's no visual medium to back it up, I mean, the actual edit for the last one, we're only on two proper episodes and one unofficial episode. The actual edit was about 4 minutes shorter, just from cutting out pauses that we had, because as I say, with the visual backing it up, when we're sort of, you can see us thinking, I go, there's nothing worse in a podcast on when people are listening to it than a big long pause.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you can see the video like this, you can see stuff. So that again changes editing. But then I cocked up in the last edit, the last APC we did. There's a moment in it where me and Kim had a bit of lag on the line, and this is before we used local recordings, so to line it all up. And I went to speak, Kim went to speak, but our audio was out of sync, so I sort of point at Kim like this to say, go ahead. Then she points at me, and I'm like, go ahead. And so we edited that out, because it made me look like I was being a bit of an arse. I wasn't. It's just because we had this lag going on. The thing is, when I cut that segment out, Kim was sat here, for instance, and when I cut it, she was over here, so it looked like she'd sort of done a matrix blip. So I came up with this, it was all about Nickelodeon, so I came up with this transition card, which normally we bring up in StreamYard when we're doing it. I just slapped it over the screen, so if you actually watch the last one back, if you wonder why this big picture comes up of like the Rugrats characters, it's because that was better than the matrix blip. That's all it was.
I mean, I also found, because I use my phone, I do, for all of it, because I want to, at some point, I will invest in a decent laptop. But the laptop I got, it's rubbish. It takes forever. You know what? I think it was you was saying early on about learning things, and but this laptop is so rubbish, so I don't use it. I know when I was out in Thailand, I did a whole shop tour of 7-Eleven. It was one of the big ones, and I lost the footage.
Bugger.
It was like, I saved that footage, and I thought, well, I'll put it there, because you only have so much memory on your phone, and when you're filming long episodes, you end up like, delete, and end up losing it. So, but sometimes, but do you find I know I do a lot of traveling and toys, but do you also, with me, because everything's interesting, that's why I find it really hard to cut my videos, especially if I'm out and about, because I can see things and think, oh, that building's really interesting. That looks really interesting. So sometimes I find it really hard to cut mine, because I'm thinking, well.
But then that's part of your channel's style, isn't it? I mean, when you're doing, I mean, I always say one of the best edited channels on all of YouTube is Retro Blast, and I think Michael's editing is.
Well, he went to film school in college, so he's a film student, college graduate. So he learned how to do film.
But I mean, his editing is awesome, but then his videos are very different to yours, Jason. So it depending on, I mean, when he's doing a subject or a deep dive on something, I'm guessing you just have to stick to the point, and you have to move with a certain pace to keep that the audience engaged. But when we watch a channel like yours, the thing is, it's travels. We want to see what you're doing. That's part. That's part. We want to experience your day. And the thing is, if you're going to cut big sections out, then So no, I think it works for you. I think everybody who does video has their own style.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
definitely.
it's just important to find what works for you, isn't it? And the thing is, if anyone criticizes anything you ever do, do your own then. You know,
Yeah.
do your own. And if you already do
It was
your own,
actually funny.
that's
Because obviously where I live, somebody went past me and he was talking to his partner, and I heard, "Oh, he's a YouTuber who does things. He's pretty crap." As he went past me, but he was talking to the missus about. Pretty soon he was talking about me, and I felt like turning around. Well, if you can do it better, mate, go ahead and try. It's not as easy as you think. Because I thought that sometimes. I mean, you think, oh, it's really simple to pick up a camera, go along, film things, and it isn't. I mean, it's like Stu, or as we as at the moment, it's called Sue. He said he finds it really hard to film in public. I mean, I was actually the same.
Well, I was at Farthest From in Fordingbridge with Stu and Georgie about a month, 6 weeks ago. And I said to Stu, "Are you recording anything?" He just said, "I just don't feel comfortable." And and I said, "Oh, no one will be worried." But if he doesn't feel, the problem is if he doesn't feel comfortable, it'll probably come across in his filming.
Yes.
I mean, I went to an echo base and I started recording, and because, well, for one, I looked around. Luke was recording, Tez was recording, everyone there was recording. I thought, well, there's going to be umpteen videos out about this, and they're all better channels than me, so let them document it, and I'll just enjoy the day.
Yeah.
But also, I was struggling, but I was actually having a hard time in the room. I'm not good with really big crowds.
Yes.
So I just, it was, I think I wasn't uncomfortable because I'm uncomfortable filming. I was just uncomfortable that day because the room was hot. There were a couple of people with incredibly bad body odor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
that is one of the biggest problems with a lot of comic conventions. That's
one thing, and I don't know if it's wrong of me, but I like to separate nerd culture from geek culture. Just the way the two words sound to me. Nerd seems like you're into almost anything. And then geek I don't know if one's a subset of the other, but I have always had this thing in the back of my mind about geek is that you're really into something niche. Whereas nerd, if I am attracted to any one subject, languages, martial arts, athletics, I'll nerd out. It's like when I was out when I was with my second ex, and we were kind of double dating with her friend and roommate at the time, and I was friends with that person's boyfriend already, and we were discussing UFC. The girls were like, "Why are you guys talking about UFC?" And they were like, "We don't get this opportunity to nerd out on UFC all too often." So it's just, I just find that interesting because I do find some parts of geek culture, I don't know, like you mentioned the comic conventions, but I don't know what section of that culture is prone to a lack of.
Can I just chuck out something I've Googled on that? Because I've never thought on this before. And I've got the dictionary definitions of the word nerd. A person who is extremely enthusiastic and knowledgeable about a particular subject, especially one of specialist niche interest. And then I jump across to geek. Geek. This word is a slang term originally used to describe eccentric or non-mainstream people. In current use of the word, typically connotes an expert or enthusiast obsessed with a hobby or intellectual pursuit. So
they're interchangeable then.
I think so. Originally, geek was used as a put down, and now the word geek. I mean, let's bear in mind this is what Google's saying, so take it with a pinch of salt.
When I was a kid, nerd was a put down.
So yes, it was.
it was looked down. You were looked down upon if you were called a nerd when I was a kid.
But I think it was a bit different for us in the UK because we're all around the same age bracket. Where I know when I was in high school, we still called it high school. We did in the UK back then. You didn't have jocks. You didn't have. You was all at the same level. So, and I would say you always sort of like some will be more nerds than other, and then some will be totally different. I mean, it's quite different how the culture in the UK was to the culture in America, because I mean you did have people, but I think the difference that made it for the UK, we got made to wear uniforms, so you all got stuck wearing a uniform that's one regimental. It's all the same. You can't wear £200 worth of jeans coming in and going, oh look at Mr. Pauper over there. He's got handyman's downs, you know. And I think that's still the same way to the day, where we still have school uniforms. I don't know what was that?
Sorry, no, I didn't want to cut off your point. Sorry, I was fine. I was just going to say, we do have the uniforms, and I think that's one of the reasons why A, to make it a bit more regimented, and B, I mean, my wife works in the school; she's a TA, and one of the things. One of the day they don't do at her school anymore. They don't do non-school uniform days, even though they're young kids, because the reason is for exactly that. They don't. There's some more disadvantaged kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they don't want to put them in a position where they're coming in with the kids whose parents can maybe afford to buy them all the best clothes and everything.
Yes.
You've got the other kids who can't have that. But going back to high school, we didn't have jocks and that, but there was definitely a sort of social pecking order. There was almost like top, middle, and bottom, and I always sort of sat comfortably in the middle, where I was enough of a friends with the cool kids that I didn't get battered, but then I was blocked anyway with most of these kids at the local club, so I was all right in their eyes.
Yes.
And I was still friends with the nerdy kids or whatever. But they were, do you know that I found the way to survive at high school for all that was if you struck that middle ground, and you was just all right with everybody.
My best mate was the second hardest kid in the whole school, and I knew him from the age of 4, because my mum used to go on the fields picking. Then we went to different junior schools. Then we went to the high school, and we basically bumped into each other. And then the friendship formed. Well, like it never left. And yeah, I know what you mean, because if you was best friends with somebody quite high up, you know, you could get away with murder. But
yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say about there's a very, very British term for anyone American. It's the hardest kid in the school. So that is the person who is supposedly the toughest and whatnot. But one amazing story from when I was at high school, we had the hardest kid at our school come down to our boxing club, right? And he basically got put about the ring by someone 2 years younger than him, just hammered
love
him,
it.
you know, just and that proved the point to me then. That I mean, this kid went on to do good things in boxing. I mean, he's out of it now, but he awards and so I was never any good. I went for the fitness. I went. It was social. It was a group. You know, I was never going to be anything special. But a lesson learnt that day was reputation don't always marry up with the truth of the matter. And that was quite funny, seeing this kid who was absolutely cocksure as he'd walk around school that he'd have anyone. He was hard. Well, you were 16 and a 14-year-old absolutely pulled your pants down and embarrassed you in front of the whole club, mate. So
Did you ever? I don't know if it was a normal thing. You know, when you left junior school to go to the high school back in the day, did your headmaster or headmistress give you the so-called speech where whatever you do now in high school will go towards your working life speech? Yeah.
We had all of that at school.
Oh, you did as well.
And I got to be honest with you, what little GCSEs I got that I could be bothered to go to, and I didn't. I think it's only 4 or 5 I bothered to go. I could be bothered to show up for. Well, my record of achievements in the bin, I have never needed any qualifications for any job I've ever had. I'm in the building trade now. I work for quite a big company. And like said in my interview when I went along, but basically when I went for the job, I took in like pictures of my work and everything because I'm not qualified in my trade. I'm not. There's not really a qualification in the thing I do.
Yeah.
And I took in a portfolio and references, and like the guy rightly said, he said, "If you can't do the job, we'll figure it out in about 5 minutes, mate." I said, "I know you are. That's why I'm not worried." And you know,
I mean, there was something I remembered because in my school they would not put me in any exams. They said to me, "No, we're not going to put you in any exams. You're not going to pass them. But your mum, I was single. My mum was a single parent. But your mum can pay for your exams. And if you pass, we will pay you. We'll give you the money back to your mum." And I went, "No, doesn't work like that." So I just basically packed up my books on the last day where all the exams started. And I went, "See you later." And then I did a year of working. So I got a bit of working life. And then I went to Mid-Kent College. And I passed that with a merit. And you know what the most gratification I had? I'm bumping into my old teacher and going, basically, so I wasn't worth putting in. Oh, by the way, I've just passed this course. It's quite hard to do with merit. And you know what that works out to in GCSEs, don't you? So thank you very much. See you later. Bye-bye.
So I just want to be sure I'm clear about what you guys were describing. Were these vocational exams or exit exams for school, or?
So what we get in the UK, it's changed again now, but certainly when we were at school, you work through high school to do your GCSEs. And you get your subjects, English, maths, science, and you get the typical it's changed now because it's done with numbers, but it used to just be A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
That's it. Yeah.
Fell. That's what it was. And then what would happen is you'd have to get a minimum of so many C's to do your college course. And if you didn't, I went on sit form for a year. So I had to do the beginning. It basically meant I had to do a year of course I wanted to do. I had to do like a sort of intro year and do something called key skills, where I did maths, English, and something else again.
I remember that.
And basically that equated to 3 C's. So providing I passed that meant I could then go on and do an A level if I wanted to. But by that point I'd had enough and I'd tasted money and I thought, sod this. I'm going out to work, and I've never looked back, to be honest.
Yeah. The US has something similar, but I don't know if it's as regimented. I could be wrong, but at least if you showed evidence of not doing well, when I went to school, it wasn't exactly poo-pooed on like it is now. Because I think in many ways, college is being oversold. And
oh yeah, in the UK, uni, far too many people go to uni that shouldn't go to uni.
Yeah.
And controversial point, but I know loads of people who went to uni, racked up a load of debt, and they've done nothing with it. Whereas I went out, didn't do any of that, and this isn't a boast, but like I'm not mega highly paid, but I'm doing better financially because I just got on and worked my way through, and I got friends who are now sat going, "Oh well, if I don't ever get above so much a year, I won't have to pay my loan back," and I'm like, But surely you want to work to earn an amount to be comfortable. I mean, I'm not rich by any stretch. I'm a working class man. That's that's my salary. But so many people I know my sister, for instance, she said, I want to go to uni. I want to be a solicitor. She went to uni. She got a first in her degree. She's a solicitor. She's now looking at becoming a barrister, right? So she did what she said she would. I had another friend who went to one uni, deferred his course or whatever you call it, did something else, went back to uni, and I've heard he's going back into adult education again. And you think to yourself, when's enough? When are you gonna? It's almost like you're afraid to leave education. Are you afraid to leave that scholastic system and get out there on your own? I mean,
there is something to be said that you got to plan it right. So my mom went through the school system. Now, when she came to the U.S. from the Philippines in the 80s, her CPA did not articulate to the state, so she had to redo the whole program, sadly enough. My dad did not finish college. He was about to go to college until his mom said, no, you're joining the United States Navy from the Philippines. And so 2 years in, he tells my mom, bring the kids over. So I ended up going over with my sister and my mom. Long story short, he's 24 years into his naval career, and he's already collected college degrees. He had his 2-year while he was active duty. After his retirement in 2004, he gets his bachelor's. Then he works towards his master's. All the while he's working for a private contractor. Then he ends up in a federal position working on the same base he served at for the last 20 some odd years of his life. So there are many ways to skin a cat. But I think I realized where, like you, APD, that as soon as you taste the money, if I had tasted the money while I was on summer vacation, I don't know if I wanted to continue college. It might have been a good way for me to supplement my income and maybe make myself more marketable. But I think a lot of what I was able to do is because I had 2 vocational degrees, if not 3. Let's see, engineering tech, or computer repair, electronics. So 3, technically. I had gone through those classes. So I had that with me, that I had the vocational training. But it's like, there's a time and place when people are ready for the college experience. Because I think, in retrospect, I wasn't ready for college after high school.
Oh yeah, I can totally get that. I'm just there's just an interesting comment on screen there. When I went to school, the trades were looked down upon, which is so stupid. Absolutely. When we went to school, right? So I wish I went into building sooner, right? But at school, basically what used to happen is kids who maybe weren't so good in the classroom, they used to send them off to do vocational courses where they'd send them off to day and they'd learn trades, an introduction to trades, because there was and the problem with that is that sets this sort of culture where people think if you're only thick people go into building. Now, I'm not saying I'm intelligent. I'm a plasterer by trade. I tile. I do tiling as well. I do multiple other facets of building, but they're my core trades, right? And the thing is, I don't work with any dumb builders. They might not be able to sit and pass an exam in a classroom, but I tell you something now, they're geniuses, some of these guys, the stuff they can do. And like the trade is struggling now. Building trade is struggling now to get new young people in. So my nephew, about 6 years ago, failed all his GCSEs, was in tears. I failed, what am I going to do? I said, well, you wanted to go to college and do plastering. In the UK, it's not really a plastering course, but you can go do general building and it covers plastering. So he went to that for a year. Sorry, I spoke too fast. My apologies. In the UK, you can go and do like a general building course and that covers plastering, which is the trade I do. And he went off. He did that. He got his key skills. He jacked it in after a year. For the last 5 years, he's been out plastering. He's learned his trade. He works damn hard. He earns decent money. And you know what? All those people who I'm not saying to anyone, don't try your best. If there's any kids listening, try your best. But certainly I was made to believe at school that if you didn't pass your exams and you didn't do this, you wouldn't amount to nothing. What a load of crap.
Yes,
if you have
I
a good
remember
work
that.
ethic, if you have a good work ethic and you're prepared to get your hands dirty, you'll be all right. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You know, I've done some jobs which are crap jobs that people wouldn't want to do. But, you know, I bought my first house when I was 21.
Oh, blimey.
I lost my job and I went and worked in my friend's chip shop for a year. Was it glamorous? No, it wasn't.
Nah.
But it kept the wolf from the door and it paid the bills. Then I went and worked at my dad's butcher shop. But dad's a butcher. I trained in that. And then I come out of that back into building. You know, it's because I come out of school straight into office work, hated it, was forever getting moaned at. Oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. But I was sat at a desk all day.
Yeah,
It's not like being sat at a desk now where I'm chatting with mates. It's like sat there and it was just boring. I just wanted to smash my head against the desk.
Because
I put weight on. The job I was working in, it was like first started there. It was like hotel porter / night manager / port. Use everything. Use Tom, Dick, and Harry. But you had in the 8 hours, you had all the cleaning to do, and you had so much to do. But by the end of it, I was there for 13 years. By the end of it, like the last 2, they took everything away. You literally just sat behind a desk for the full 8 hours at night. I was a night porter, night manager, and everything else. You just sat behind a desk doing nothing, and you didn't see anybody. It was one of the most boring jobs that I ever had, and sometimes the most trouble jobs going.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly jobs which are boring. Don't get me wrong, but then one mentality that annoys me, and I don't know if you get this in the States, but I can't stand people who look down on people who work in places like McDonald's or fast food places because I think, oi, leave him alone. He's working or she's working.
Yeah.
They're working. They're earning money. You know, everyone's got, so what? So what their job is,
and actually, working in McDonald's is not a particularly easy job.
No, it is not.
I knew people that worked at McDonald's, and it's no joke. It's a high pressure environment.
I can hold my hands up and say I actually got turned down for McDonald's all those years ago when I was unemployed. I filled the form in, and they went, "No, thank you." Oh well.
I worked at McDonald's for one shift. Probably 22, 23 years ago. And it's all changed now because they've all got tattoos and that, but no word of a lie. The manager saw my arms and said, "You're going to have to cover those." Well, how am I going to cover them? And being young, and basically I got let go from a job. I told my parents that, they were making cutbacks and whatever. Then I got fired, called the manager a rude name. He was an arse though. And you know what it's like when you're like now, if someone annoys me, I just sort of think whatever. Back then, I don't have much of a filter now, but I had no filter then, so I just walked out, and that's what happens. But no, I've known people who have gone and worked for fast food chains, and they've ended up going up the management. So my sister's other half, he come out of uni, sort of dropped out of his course, went to do a job at a shop called Lidl, stacking shelves, and he's now like a regional manager, and he is on fat money. It's there for you if you want to, and he worked his way up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
just changing gears a bit, guys. There's an interesting question here from Tree Theodore, so it'd be interesting to get your guys' take on this. Tree's asking, what is the most important thing that we've all learned from analytics on YouTube? Any thoughts, guys?
Well, for me, shorts. I've now stopped doing shorts. They I found I mean Richard Blaston actually brought this up, and as soon as they mentioned it, I started looking myself, and I don't know if I'm getting a bit loud, and I noticed that also my channels was getting affected, where I was doing shorts, and because you was getting people joining you because you was doing shorts, and then clicking on to you doing a long, and then going off, that my videos are slowly going down. I mean, yeah, so I've now literally, I think my last short I'd done, I think was a week ago, and I've literally now decided I'm not doing no more shorts. I mean, and another thing I've noticed, I've now looked at what times most of my people are watching my channel, and back before I went to Thailand, it was from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's now from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. It's weird how that time changed, and I think that is due to the shorts. I do.
Okay.
Analytics are odd. I had one video that was being promoted by a Ukrainian CCTV live channel, because you can look and it will tell you if your channel's being promoted with another video. One of them, I was chuffed when it was getting promoted by a retro blasting video. I was like, sweet. Shorts wise, I'm not going to do any more shorts because Michael laid it out very clear that and it all made perfect sense. So I got to make a decision. My channel isn't big at all. It's minute. But the thing is, before the next podcast, I'm probably going to delete all my shorts because I just don't want them to confuse anything. Just haven't got around to it. And as for everything else to do with analytics, I get more sense from watching my cat scratching at the door than trying to work out what the hell they mean.
I got to admit, there's one thing I do find. It's the hours watch. I think it should be a lifetime, not a yearly thing.
Yeah.
Because 2 months back, I was literally 3,300 watched hours. So I was like, I'm only 700 hours. Yeah, 700. Yeah, 700 hours away to hitting that grade.
Yeah.
So I can start, so it pays for the travel.
Yeah.
But because it's a year, I've literally now dropped down from there to literally 2,000.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like they're moving, it's like moving the goalpost. You're getting close, and then the goalpost is moved again.
Oh, it's weird. I had nowhere near 4,000, but I had about 1,500. Was 1,500 viewing hours, even on the small amount of stuff I'd done. That's all dropped off now. But hasn't YouTube lowered the threshold now? Like, it's not 1,000 subs anymore. I think it's 500 subs, and I don't know if they lowered the viewing hours. I mean,
I think you have to have a certain amount of viewing hours along with having over 1,000 subs.
Yeah.
Just to get monetized, just for them to invite you into.
So
the partner program.
So as far as the subs go, that is number one. And then in my case, it's one of two. It's either you get a cumulative amount of watch hours, or you get a cumulative amount of hours worth of shorts, or whatever metric they use.
That's right.
Just nipping off to grab a drink, chaps. Sorry.
I am not going to play the shorts game. I am like what APD has done and Jason has done. I am moving. I've unpublished my short videos because I don't want to make any mistake that I'm about shorts. I am not. Like, I almost regretted having those because I'm sorry. I don't want to be the next TikTok, and I don't like it when you're trying to copy another platform. Maybe you can do something similar, make it that much better. However you decide to do that, make sure that we can see it clearly enough. It might not be an inch, it may not have to be a mile, but it's something that we have to perceive as users. Okay, this feature is worth our time. For me, it's going to be likes and views to a point, which goes back to the shorts discussion, Matt. I saw some of my videos not getting the watch time. Oh well, but it's not going to discourage me because, oh well, sorry that you have some sort of ADD, whether diagnosed or not. I'm going to make the content that represents me, and I will try to find a way to make it relevant to you. So whether we're talking about my pickups about dummy rounds, I unbox my physical media because you never know. It might come down to 3D printing. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that. But they will have to take away my pew-pews for my cold dead hands. Okay? Anyway, like whether that's that or we're talking about my physical media pickups of 4Ks, Blu-rays, just the principle, just trying to explain why it's important to do X, Y, or Z. Like maybe at some point I'll demonstrate how to do things that I need to do without looking. You know, whether that's putting on the hat, putting on a pair of medical gloves, because I'm a martial artist. If I'm a martial artist at this point in my life, I have to treat my martial arts in a very specific way that's conducive to like, well, this might happen to me. I need to account for this. I need to account for these surroundings. I need to account for these verbals that I've run through my playlist to strangers. So managing all that, how do I make that relevant to folks? And how do I tie that into pop culture? So, you know, I'm going to make those videos, whether people are going to watch that or not, because if we get so bogged down by the analytics, and this is why I appreciate pro sports, particularly pro football, because there is still an uneasy marriage with analytics and what they call the smell or eye test of an athlete. People can throw analytics up and down, but they always say, watch the tape. That also tells a story. You know, because numbers lie, according to a lot of former players that I've listened to over the time. So just, it's easy to get discouraged when you don't get the performance that you come to believe you're going to get or expected to get. Loki said it best, that you got to do it with the love, got to have fun with it. And you can learn a thing or two by the analytics. We just can't get so bogged down by it.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my piece on it.
So, I mean, is that kind of like does this marry into it? So I'm a massive boxing fan. And one of the reasons I'm never going to do any content on boxing on YouTube is, this is going to sound arrogant, but most people in the comment section haven't got a clue what they're watching or what they're talking about. And people will look and go, so and so's beat so and so, and on paper it's like, it doesn't come down to that. Never comes down to that. Never. You put two men in, it never comes down to that. You can't say because he's beat him, he'll beat him. That's not how it works. And so people get so obsessed with the tail of the tape, the stats, and you just think,
wait, am I getting the sense that you're right now in New Zealand, APD? Is that right, or am I getting that wrong?
No, I'm in England.
Oh, okay. Because
he's British. He's in the UK, like Jason and Monkey Boy. So they're all in England.
I tried.
We're the only two Americans here.
I tried asking this to other Englanders. Definitely, I'm using that term.
You're not the first person to ask me if I'm from New Zealand, though.
But I would figure that mixed martial arts might either have a bigger sway than past, but I don't know if it's the same for boxing. Like MMA,
I respect the sport. I watch the big fights, casual curiosity.
Sure.
But boxing's always been my love. I mean, MMA and boxing are two completely different sports.
Yeah.
It's like everything going on with Ngannou and Tyson. People going, Ngannou's going to tear him apart. Not in a boxing ring, he's not. Stick him in a cage. Yeah, bounce Tyson's head off the canvas.
Sure.
Stick him in a boxing ring. Tyson's don't get me wrong, he's got a puncher's chance.
Yeah,
but if he don't land that shot, Tyson's going to pick him off all night.
It's a different game. It's a different game.
Completely different game. You can't. Why do you think? When Mayweather and McGregor fought, Mayweather said, "I ain't going in a cage." Mayweather's got no ground game.
Yeah.
He's got no BJJ, no wrestling. He's got no kickboxing, no nothing. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to do what he does best. And that's
so maybe you can. I don't know if you want to do a collab APD, but it would be interesting because maybe you can catch me up on the boxing because there came a point in American boxing that I just lost interest after some series or some Pacquiao fight. I just lost interest because I felt
was it Mayweather versus Pacquiao by chance?
It might have been that because I think
stinker of a fight.
I think a lot of the boxing promotions are rigged, and I think
PBC are terrible, mate, and that's the big one in America.
Yeah. I didn't get on to PBC once it started getting big. I was into Friday night fights back in the day because you had a lot of these unknowns that wanted it. So I let me go and send you guys my email so maybe we can get something going.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I didn't know there was another contact sport aficionado, and maybe you can help. Maybe you can.
I wouldn't say I'm a passionate fan. I wouldn't say aficionado, but I don't. One thing with my boxing is, like for instance, there's just been a big thing about Daniel Dubois putting down Usyk and saying he's that a low blow, not a low blow. It was a low blow. But anyway, besides, it doesn't matter. Everyone's going, they need to run it back. They need to this. Refs made the call, mate. Refs made the call. That's it. Yep. End of. Ref's decision is final. You appeal it, you don't appeal it, you ask for a rematch. If you're that convinced, but then equally, don't sit down off a jab in the 9th round and wait to the count of 9.5 to stand up looking at the ref like 1 o'clock half struck.
Yep.
If you're that passionate, sunshine, get up and throw punches. But sorry, I get a bit passionate about my boxing.
I see that Andrews asked a question. Yes, I have watched Night Porter, but that was probably about 30 years ago, so I don't really remember much of it.
Okay. Lester, did you leave your email in the private chat for Action Pop Dad Nick?
I think it's probably private chat, I think.
Oh, okay.
It is private.
Yeah, in the private chat. Okay, so you left the email in there for all of us. Okay, I was wondering why.
I'm just copying it now.
Why you're leaving an email?
So, Monkey Boy and Tim. So, what are you? So, have you found anything with the? I can't say that word. With the YouTube thingy, Bob.
Yeah, I was doing the shorts for a while, and I think it helped me get a few more subs, but I think after I started doing these live streams, I started picking up a few subs, but then I'm usually in Troy Bocelli's Last Call live streams on Friday nights, and he always promotes everybody that has a YouTube channel that comes into his chat, whether they're on his live stream panels or not. So I think that helps me too. That helps me gain a few views.
I always promote everybody's in the chat as well.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about the shorts. I mean, I do put shorts out every so often, but they're not from scratch. I just clip parts out of Skeletor's videos, and
I was doing both. I was filming shorts when I was travelling. It was like, right, I'll do this long, and then I'll turn my camera away where fit the short version and film a bit. But I just started finding that the figures were slowly going down, and things like Michael from Retro Blasting said. And it was like, yeah, it is causing problems. And I thought after last week, I was like, well, that's it. That's the last one.
I think Michael's hit nail on the head anyway, isn't he? Because he's doing a separate channel for shorts. That way you can at least please those who subbed for the shorts. And I mean, I don't. Is Tony doing a channel for short? Does Tony? Tony did a few. Analog Toys did a few shorts, didn't they?
Yes, he did.
I mean,
yeah, but I don't think he's I don't know if he's really doing a separate channel for them though.
I mean, I've always watched Tony's again, Tony, his content is awesome. I mean, so I've always watched. Me and him are both big Action Man collectors, so. He did the Action Man, the story of Action Man, which was amazing.
Very knowledgeable man.
Yeah. Oh god, he knows far more than me. He knows far more than a lot of know. Interestingly, I'm trying to hook something up for this Sunday for the launch of Bob Breakin's book, and messages are coming in now. So we might be doing a live stream with Bob on Sunday because it's the last week of the I think because you had the pre-orders on. It wasn't Kickstarter. Was it Whatever it was. I do apologise. I've got it all written down. Long day and it's late. But I think after that reached funding, there's a certain amount of books that they produced as well, and I think the 30th is possibly last. Don't quote me on any of that. I'll get it up on my page.
You also, because. Did you also got the Action Force line and G.I. Joe, or was you just Action Man?
Well, to be honest with you, I was more when I was a kid. I had Action Force. I had probably most, if not all, of the figures because my mum bought a second-hand box just full to the brim of them. They've all vanished now. I've told the story quite a few times on YouTube, and I told the story because Tony had me on Pallet Talk. I think I told the story on Retro Blasting as well. I can't remember. Did I or didn't I? Did I just tell Michael separately? Can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. Long and short of it was I had an old beat up Action Man as a kid, which then led into the 90s Action Man. And then as I got older, I got nostalgic to get back my vintage Action Man. And then what happened is we do what we all do. We're all plastic crack addicts and we go nuts and buy all or as many as we can get.
I mean, I got it coming through the post. I've got the Sky Skyter coming, but the vintage version.
Nice.
And that's missing about 5 parts. I decided to be one of them guys who snipe in the very last 5 seconds.
You evil man, you.
Yes. And
I'd never do that because I'm not waiting for an auction that ends at like 12 o'clock at all. No.
But if you do it the way Monkey Boys does it, you won't have to stay up till then.
Yeah,
because he does
I get a robot to do all my bidding for me.
No, so I've looked at that, but I don't. You got to understand. I'm technology-wise, the fact I'm sat here in front of a computer and I've got a microphone now. That to me, this is Tron, mate. It's just futuristic as hell.
I haven't done a manual bid on eBay for about 15 plus years. I've used an automatic bidder.
I'll tell you what, I'll have to give you a bell in the week or something. You can talk me through it if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Telling me how it all works.
Auction Sniper is, I mean, yes, it's not free. You do pay a small commission, but for me, it saved me so much effort, so much time, and so much money.
How many AT-ATs have you got because of that?
Yeah, it's so good. I ended up with 3 AT-ATs, and I only wanted 1, but I ended up with 3 because I didn't realize how good Auction Sniper was. So I thought, oh well, I'll put all 3 of these ATs in, maybe I'll get one of them if I'm lucky, and I ended up winning all of them. So, I mean, that was the first time I'd ever used Auction Sniper. That was, as I say, 15, maybe more years ago. I won something yesterday on it, in fact, and I'd put the bid in maybe a week, 10 days ago, and then just left it, forgot about it, and then I got a notification today saying, I think it was today, saying, yeah, you've won the auction, and it was for quite a few quid less than I'd put in my maximum bid, and I was quite happy with that. I'd recommend it to anyone. It's absolutely invaluable. It saves you sort of waiting up until 1 o'clock in the morning to try and get that last 2-second bid in. It just cuts all that out, and it saves so much time and effort and money. It's unbelievable.
I don't know about.
I'll be happy to discuss it with you if you want to give me a bell whenever you're free, Nick.
That'd be awesome. So I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at Gerard's comment. Forget boxing, VMMA, tennis or table tennis. That's the real question.
I mean, I think in the last couple of years now, because of all the import tax. I mean, before then, how much did you used to buy from America to get shipped to the UK? I mean, I was doing so much. But now with all the duty you got to pay in the post,
started doing something with the Americans on eBay now. So I bought a vintage Muckman TNMT figure a couple of months ago, and of course eBay automatically generates what they want to charge postage to us over, and we look at it. So I'm looking at it going 35 quid to ship that. Do one. So I messaged this, I think it was actually 25 quid, but I messaged the seller and we came to a deal, and still did it through eBay, but however he applied the thing or whatever, basically long and short of it is I got the figure all done and posted. I think it cost me 42 quid. You might go for a Muckman, but it was a complete Muckman. And I looked in the UK and people wanted 50, 60 quid for it at the time. I was like, you know what? And it got to me in under 7 days, which I was absolutely blown away by. I got home and I was waiting for a Baxter Stockman. And I thought, oh, my Baxter's come, and I opened it up, didn't even look at the stuff on the parcel because I'm like a kid. Get in there. I was like, Jesus Christ, Muckman's come. Baxter that I ordered the day before came 2 days after Muckman from the States. So I was like, I remember messaging Luke about it at the time. I was like, and telling him, he was like, that's mental. Sometimes all you can do is reach out to the American sellers and just be upfront with them. So, look, I'm not trying to do a deal off of eBay, but is there anything we can do on the price or whatever? They're either going to ignore you or tell you to do one. But to be honest with you, the seller I spoke to, lovely person, said any other figures you see you want, just message me. We'll work something out.
I mean, what I do a lot is when I travel over there, I change my address to my American hotel, and I buy everything I want. I get it all shipped to my hotel, and I'll bring it home then, and I save a fortune.
That's a good way of doing it. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be getting over to the States any time in the next few years. I mean, I was chatting with GeForce the other day. We was on a stream, or were we on a stream, or was in a chat? We were somewhere. It all becomes a blur, this YouTube lark.
Yeah, it does.
Talk to each other and we're all on different things.
It's like I said to a friend of mine off YouTube. I said, he said, well, how can you class them as friends? You met. I said, no, but we all are the same community. We all become friends because we're into the same thing. So you become friends, even that we haven't met. And
look at Scuba Pete. I spent a full day with him. We stayed at the same hotel. We were drinking whiskey together. This was a guy from America. When I started watching all of our videos and this community we've got, I never thought in a million years that I'd be sat in a hotel in Leicester with him. Like with him he bought me McDonald's because I was drunk. You know, what a lovely man.
Well, I went toy hunting with Dean. And I'll tell you something. When me and Dean met, it was like meeting your best mate from school, and there was none of that awkward, that awkwardness. You just straight in.
So Pete, I was stood outside Leicester Vintage, and you can't miss Pete. If you ever see Pete, Pete is a big man. He's a big unit of a man. I mean, he gives you a hug, and you are like swallowed up, right? And I see him and Leslie walking down the street, and I just pointed like that. It's like, hey! And he got over. He goes, "Come here, you," or whatever he said. Immediately, like long, you know, and we spent like 24 hours together, pretty much. It was awesome. But then, like, look, all the English side of it. Like, I've met up with all Luke, Tez, all of the USR lads, all of them. Matt from ZSR don't live that far away from me. We bump in now. We know each other. We bumped into each other a few times. Like, oh, hello, Matt. You all right? One day, Tim might have the pleasure of meeting me. I hug everyone, by the way. Sorry.
I haven't met anyone actually, because I'm stuck out in the arse end of East Anglia, so I'm not really on the way to anything.
Did you say you was Norwich way? I don't know geography of this country.
I am. I'm fully.
Are you an
Norwich.
Ashens fan?
I used to watch him. He's disappeared off YouTube. I think he lost patience with YouTube.
Fan on charge.
But yeah, no, Ashens is a local boy. Yeah. Oh, there's another one of them bloody flying things. Wait, hang on. Back in a second.
The bloody flying things. That does not sound good.
That's English slang word, by the way.
Here it is. Here it is. Look. Here it is. Whatever that is.
Oh, it's a Danny Longleg.
No, I think
it's
that
a
might be
long
a
legs
mosquito
now.
eater.
Feed it skeletal. No, I'm making my way through meeting all the people from the YouTubes, but it was only 2 weeks ago. There's a friend that I've known online for 10 years, literally 10 years, and we met through Instagram years ago, and her and her husband and me and my wife all met up the other week, went out for a meal. It was lovely, and it was literally like being in a room with any other friend I've ever had. There was no. Well, actually, on the Thursday night, I went out with my friend Pete, her other half, and it was me, and we got absolutely
hammered.
I didn't feel well on the Friday morning. Interestingly, I can say this here because no one will be offended, but he's a gynecological surgeon and she's an Ann Summers rep. So they their jobs sort of work together. But Matt said to me, I said, I'm on antibiotics for this thing I had going on. He's like, what ones are you on? I told him. He's like, dude, you shouldn't be drinking on those. I was like, will it kill me? It won't kill you. So you're going to suffer in the morning. He wasn't wrong. Oh my God, I felt absolutely. I think I had 8 pints and I felt like I had 16. And then we went out on Friday night for a more civilized meal, and I managed to get 2 pints down me, and I was like, I can't drink anymore. I was laughing. I
think 2 pints is my limit anyway.
I don't even drink these days.
I don't do it often, but I don't do it often, but don't get me wrong. I have a beer every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at home. When I say I don't drink often, I mean I don't go out and
yeah.
The thing is, I'm an really fat person who went really skinny, who's now moderately somewhere in the middle. But the thing is, I can still put down the amount I could when I was massive, but I don't hold it as well anymore.
No,
so. And when I was super skinny, because I lost I went down from like 20 plus stone to like 11 and a half stone. And I would I could still bang. I'm like just under 17 now, which is I'm happy with because it works. But I could, even when I was super skinny, I could put down the amount. I think I'm just greedy. But my God, my body couldn't take it. It just was ridiculous. And also, I think because growing up, England's got quite a culture for drinking, hasn't it? Let's be fair. We do like a drink over here. But I've never gone out drinking to brag and go, I had 10 pints. It's just one of them. Like if you're out on a night and you go out at 6 o'clock and you're getting in at 2 a.m, chances are in that time you're gonna you're gonna have sunk a few. And but I tend to find that where drinking messes me up, it's not actually so bad if you start at 6 and go home at 2, because you tend to pace yourself. It's when you go out at 8, 9 o'clock and you drink till about midnight.
Right, yeah.
It's like you put too much down in a short space of time.
Yeah.
But next time I go out and properly go out on the beer, it's probably not going to be for another good few months, 6 months even. Depends if any of my friends show up and want to do anything. That's the truth. Otherwise, I'll sit at home
drink in the summer. I don't tend to drink in the winter, apart from once the Christmas season starts to show up on the shelves. So probably about October, I might get the odd bottle of sherry.
I'm going to do Stoptober this year, which is where you don't drink for all of October, because without fair, every year when I do it, I drop just over a stone in weight, which just goes to show having those few beers over the weekend.
Wow.
What that does, because and also I tend to find then, because the problem is, I always say with drinking, it's not, you don't lose that stone because you stop the drinking. You lose that stone because you stop the drinking and you don't go, oh, I fancy a pack of crisp, and then go to the cupboard and eat that pack of crisp and eat those 2 Kit Kats and then eat your son's Haribo and think, oh, sugar in the morning, I got to go out and buy him more Haribo. Happens a lot. It's the associated, what it's like when you have a beer, you drink, so that month of not drinking those beers and not doing that extra snacking, and then of course you're not as, I'm terrible I don't drink enough water, so probably what I then do in these over these weekends is I'm dehydrated, and your body easily mistakes dehydration for being hungry, and it's just
yes. Your
So-
brain doesn't actually know, because I was the same as you. I was a big boy. I mean, I got up to about 24 stone. Then over about a 3-year base, I got down to literally just under 14. And
well done.
I did a lot of courses. I did, and they were telling you your brain doesn't realise the difference between hungry or thirsty. So
too true.
Yeah, so you end up thinking, "Oh, I'm hungry." You're not. You're actually thirsty, but you don't know any difference. But
and because I'm not I've had a couple of glasses on here tonight because I'm talking. But what you do then is, like I say, you'll have 2 or 3 beers on a Friday night. You're probably dehydrated the next day, so then you've eaten a load of crap on Friday night. You've had a few beers, and then through the day, I'm hungry. It's the weekend, so you eat more crap, and you have a few more beers, and you eat that crap, and you basically 3 evenings of doing that, and you've probably put an extra 2 days worth of calories on for that week.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
That's why Stoptober. That's what I think one of the benefits of taking a month off the booze for Stoptober is really good, because you just gotta, and I'll see the difference, because I'll look back at this at the end of when December starts, and my face will I might have a cheekbone back.
Yeah. I mean, 2020 and 21 didn't do me no favours.
No, lockdown. I worked all the way through lockdown, but what I found was happening was, because I was really bored, and my missus was a key worker. She didn't work at the school at the time. She worked in a shop. So bless her, and she'd bring me home. That throughout lockdown, I drank more Thatcher's lemon cider. I could have. You just come home each evening. It's just like, it's hot. I can't do anything. My band stopped. All the gigs were cancelled. So it was just like buying toys and drinking cider.
The best first 6 weeks of lockdown. I've never had my eBay go so crazy. I was like, I literally one day I sold something like 40 to 50 items. And luckily I had all the stuff at home, the bubble wrap and boxes. I took it to my local post office. It's just like a small one, and they were like, how many? You don't normally do this amount. I said, no, I know I don't. So I'm quite shocked as well. They went, we can't. Can you go down the big one down the road? I went, yeah, no way, I'll go down the big one for you. But it went crazy.
Wow.
It did.
No, that was a strange time, but then that strange time kicked off a lot of the channels that we all know, and so it's every cloud and all that. So
one of the reasons why I started doing toys on my channel, because I couldn't do travel. And it was like, what can I do? I can't do travel. And my brother said I was a collector already. And he went, and you got enough toys to talk about? And I was like, yeah, but it's been done before by other people. And he said, yeah, but it's not been done by you. It's not done by, And I was like, and I said to him, I went, but my channel's called Travels with Jason. It doesn't say Travels with Toys, or it doesn't. But then I thought after thinking, but he's quite a wise little lad actually. And I actually, it's my channel, and I'm gonna do what I like. And I thought, yeah, sod it, I will do my toys. I will do, and that's why the end of it is the reason why I changed my title to Travels and More, because then it says it's not just about traveling. It's and more bit is the toys.
Yeah,
I mean, I let a then 7-year-old name my channels.
Mm-hmm.
What should we call the channel, Jax? You like Action Man? And I said, well, I want to do pop culture. Action Pop Dad. Jax came up with it. Action Pop Dad. So there you go. It's
Good job.
It's like, do you know what? You can't argue with the logic of a young'un, can you?
No.
They see everything so direct.
Yeah.
And clear. So
they'd also be very brutal honest as well.
Oh yeah. Jax has told me one video I did, I think it was my second video. I opened up some of these cheap, like they did those G.I. Joe dollar store toys. They did a line for Power Rangers, and on the video, I just thought I'd do a quick pickup video. I bought them because he was having them after I was done with them. I was never intended to keep them, but it was just I was interested. And he was like, "I don't think you should have opened them on camera because it was really noisy." I was like, "All right." I was like, "Okay, mate." But my Jax, I don't put him on social media, but he's got some little videos he's recorded, and I've shared them with a couple of people. I tell you what, the other thing I was proud of him for, he loves the Tank Museum in Bovington. We live right by it.
Oh, the one that Matt went to?
Yeah, that's the one. I live 5-6 minute drive from it. And my boy, we went to a sci-fi convention and they had all the Daleks, and my little boy loves Doctor Who. I mean, classic Who as well. And he dresses up as the Doctor, and I don't put him on social media, but the Tank Museum took a picture of him running from the Daleks with his sonic screwdriver thing on. He's now in their advertising campaign. So if you see him on the website, the little blonde Doctor Who running from the Daleks, that's my son.
Excellent.
Love it.
He's with his little pocket watch, because I mean it's not TV accurate Matt Smith outfit, because the problem is we started making them, they grow out of it so quick. We bought him these bits and he grew out of it, so you can tell he's trying to be Matt Smith, bless him, but he's 9. But he's but it's fair, he wants to. I think he wants to go on Sunday as Matt Smith because he said he hasn't got the right hat to go as Tom Baker. But he saw Melinda from Retro Blasting's video, retro knitting or whatever it was called. It will come back to
scarf.
me. The scarf. And I said to Michael, I was like, that's cool. I think I said to Melinda as well, I was like, that's caused chaos in our house, because he's saying to his nan, my scarf's not accurate, you've knitted me.
Oh.
Bless him.
I actually know somebody around this area, and I don't know if he goes with conventions at all, but he basically wears daily life David Tennant's outfit, and with Tom Baker's scarf, and I see him regular around town. As a young lad, must be, I'll say, and I don't mean young, but it's young to us. I would say middle 20s, probably about 22, maybe 25. And straight away, yeah, for us. And straight away, you know it's David Tennant. You know, the whole outfit, from the shoes to the jumper. I'm not a jumper. To the coat he wears, to the scarf. But he just wears it daily life.
Play to him. He's living his best life. Can't knock that, can you? Some of us tattoo our bodies. Other people walk around dressed as Doctor Who. We've all got our little things we do, haven't we?
Well, I went to a Comic-Con up London, the MCM, but I didn't take my full outfit. I just had the Star Trek coat and jacket from the Rafa Khan. So I left that on, and I went round London. I'll tell you something, no one bats an eyelid, you know, and it's like just wearing normal gear. And then I walk into a place. I think I actually went to Forbidden Planet. One person went, "Oh, that's cool. Star Trek, yeah, that's what I meant. Oh, yeah, nice. That's it."
Oh. Cool.
I feel a bit bad actually, because I came on and you, Monkey Boy, you were just about to do something. Then we've gone.
He was about to show his toys.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right, man. It's not a problem.
Well, we saw one of your toys earlier, Monkey Boy. We saw your Granny Gross action figure.
Oh yeah, my Granny Gross. Yeah, I've got my Granny Gross.
Oh, I love her.
So what did you get anyway?
So well, let's see if we can sort of smash through it really quickly. I picked up a Black Series C3PO in the archive range, because I don't actually own a C3PO, and I wanted one with the silver leg. So this is a repack of the 2016 one.
Nice.
So yeah, pick that up, because you've got to have C3PO, really, haven't you? And then I picked up some annuals just very quickly. I've got the Return of the Jedi one.
Nice.
Which is cool. I also got the Star Wars storybook in a hardback, which is actually really nice because it's got a cool picture of Vader on the back. If it's got one of these slip covers on, and if you take the slip cover off, it's got like an embossed silver X-wing on the front cover, which I thought was really cool.
What year was that?
Cool. This was, let's have a look.
I don't remember it.
Don't know, can't tell you. I think probably about, it was either 17. Let's have a look. 78.
Huh?
Wow.
78.
Huh.
I also picked up another Spider-Man annual, because I had this one when I was a kid, and I've still got it somewhere. But it's in my garage, and I've no idea where. And for reasons that I won't go into on a live stream, I can't really go into my garage at the moment.
Oh, I wonder why.
For mental health reasons. And so I can't go in there to look for it, and I picked up another one quite cheaply, which is the Spider-Man annual, and this has got the awesome image, if I can find it, of let's have a look, of the death of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Just here. So. And I really remember this as a kid, and as I say, I can't go and look for the one that I do have. And then I also picked up another Return of the Jedi storybook.
Yes, I remember that one.
This one is from 83.
Wow.
So
I got a couple of pop me address over, mate. At the end, I got a couple of old Star Wars annuals you can have, mate, because they're just sat in my cupboard, and annuals aren't my thing. So if you into me and have them, yeah. No, because I've like my boy's got more Star Wars books I know what to do with. Basically, it's like when I offer people stuff, I think this is good. That's one less thing I have to store.
I mean that's very
Let's
kind
be
of
honest.
you. That's very kind of you.
Man,
Well,
you can have them.
I mean, there's no need to send me stuff, man. But I mean, well, that's very kind. Thank you.
No. Well, I picked Luke up a Centurions comic the other week, and then before I put it off him, because I am incredibly slow. No. I'll tell you the story. You didn't see mine. If I say I'll send you something, you will 100% get it. It might be in 6 weeks' time, but you will get it because I'm slow. But somebody sent the comic I picked up for Luke before I could send my one to him. I said to him, do you want it, mate? You can have it. It's not as good a condition as the one you got sent. And he said, no. And to be honest with you, my little boy kept eyeing it up. So I said, do you know what? It's a bit beat up. I give it the boy, because at the end of the day, it's there to be read, isn't it? So
yes.
I did a very similar thing with Luke. Actually, I got him some Mask annuals, and before I could send them, VTR Dave sent them to him. So
happens, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
If you remember any of Luke's videos, for the longest time, when after he had his break, he did a thing about Action Pop Jawa not sending his. Right, so I sent him the speeder bike in the box. Didn't have the insert, but he didn't have a complete speeder bike, and I thought, well, to be honest with you, I don't care about 3D print parts or repro parts on one.
I'm the same. I don't
just
care.
Missing the flaps. Luke doesn't care. Luke will happily have them, but he does. You know, I know that he wanted to get a complete original, which I understand. I mean, and I thought, well, let's send it someone who's gonna. I send it him because he helped me out in the first video, and I thought not only that, it's going to the right place. Because don't get me wrong, Luke is not anti-repro. He's got repro parts and some of his styles bits, but he does like we all do. Let's face it. Any of us who use repro parts, we all wouldn't mind the original part.
Oh hell yeah!
But I just thought,
but we're not going to pay £70 for a tiddy little thing like this.
Yeah, exactly that. And I just thought, you know what? I know it's nice to have a complete one, but it's not out on display. I've got no editors, but let's send it to the person who is going to display it. You know, let's have it. But that's what happens, isn't it? Sorry, Monkey Boy. Have you got any more pickups? I've been talking again. Just tell me to shut up.
No, you're all right. You're okay. No, well, the only other pickups I've got are a lot of DVDs, but I can always hold fire on those until next time, because there are rather a lot of them.
Any good ones?
I didn't realize.
They're not amazing.
DVDs, man.
Yeah,
are just
I found
addictive.
I went to a charity shop a few days ago, and they were selling DVDs for 50p each. So I bought an absolute stack of them.
I'm really bad with CDs. I don't put them back in the case in my car, and I haven't got a USB input on my stereo, and I haven't got an auxiliary in because my Honda's like from 2006. So whenever my CDs are scratched up or whatever, I go in the local charity shop and they literally sell CDs for 50p, and I'll just pick out a load of CDs, buy them for a few quid, listen to them. It's like,
no.
But like, you know that. But it does make you listen to other stuff. I mean, I have got CDs that I care about, which are like all my Motorhead collection. They're all nice and safe. But my car was a working car for a long time, so I'm pretty bad for just like, you know, you're driving along and you're like, oh, I want to listen to. Oh, look, there's an Easy CD down there. Let's eject one out. Oh, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Terrible.
you monster!
I'm a monster. I'm a monster. Sorry about that.
Ah, well. Oh, now I've got a moth attacking me. What's going on with all this wildlife in here
You
tonight?
must have a window open, monkey boy.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Have you opened your wallet?
I think only us Brits might
Don't
get
resist,
that,
sorry.
actually.
The what?
I think only us Brits might actually get that one. I'm not sure about if the Americans actually knew about that one. I think it's always been in certain, But you must have a little window open.
Yeah, well,
I wonder with some of our American friends, right? And I've got a theory here. We all grew up in England watching tons of American shows, right? So we hear Americans talk and we understand every word you say, no matter if you're from the deepest parts of the South, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't watch a lot of our stuff over there, or at least you didn't. I know it's getting a bit more popular now, and I wonder how many of our American friends, especially if I do, like I was speaking too fast earlier, I wonder how many of our American friends go, what the hell? What are they saying? Because I did that.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad for you and I, Nick, because we don't. I wouldn't say we've got a particularly strong accent, but I can imagine someone from the US sort of trying to watch Last of the Summer Wine or something, and just having to put the subtitles on for the whole thing.
I did a charity stream with the Culture Cast boys for a thing for Vader's Girl a while back, and it was like a special edition Culture Cast episode. Worth a watch. I came up with a very interesting multiverse for the subject. I don't want to ruin it here, and I don't think I could say it here, to be honest. And then the next guys who come on were like, that they were like, oh, that was so much fun. Those British guys, they're a great laugh. What we can understand of them.
Yeah,
it's
like Irish, Scottish, and English in there, and of course we all understand each other clear as day.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. That's a good question. I'm trying to think back if there were any television series I got to watch in the 80s featuring prominent British actors, actresses. It's only been like those that have been fused in American productions. So, for example, Patrick Stewart in TNG. No matter where he's put, I don't think they've ever asked him to get rid of whatever accent he may have had, because I wouldn't be surprised if how he sounds in TNG or wherever else, like Men in Tights or Dune, it doesn't sound any different, but he can still get away with it. In my mind, he still gets away with it.
But he's got that he's got those sort of Shakespearean actor chops, and he speaks and he enunciates properly, and he is really clear. And if you went and pulled some oik off of a building site up in Middlesbrough and said, "Oh, do this part," but what is he saying? We get it. But,
well, it's interesting because there was a guy who taught during my weekend of emergency medical training. He's from a southern part of Kentucky. And there's another instructor in the same institution or organization. He's from the northern part of Kentucky. And he even admits, the instructor, he has an instructor's voice and his everyday regional Kentuckian voice. And you could tell the difference is like night and day between the two. Whereas,
I get that though.
Was that?
I was going to say I started off out of school working in an office at a law firm, and you can speak to me now, but people at work laugh when I go on the phone when it's
You have your posh voice.
I have a very well spoken
Yeah.
British voice on the telephone, yeah, because I had to do.
But it's another thing we do in this country. We use a lot of slang.
Yeah. Well,
I think for the toilet, I think there's probably about 10 words just for the toilet, and I'm talking in slang words.
Right.
That if we said some word to you, if you didn't know much about, but there's other ones, and they'd be like, what? I mean, it's one of the hardest languages to learn because the amount of slang we use.
My contact with English proper productions came through my junior and senior high. I remember during 9th grade English, we actually saw the Olivia Hussey, I think that's the actress's name, the Olivia Hussey version of Romeo and Juliet, which I still think is the pinnacle. I may be wrong, but in all the Romeo and Juliet cinematic versions I've seen, that still holds the candle. I didn't care for the Leonardo DiCaprio Claire Danes version. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure if Claire Danes is that good of an actor.
Never seen it.
Which one?
The second one.
Okay. But
I've probably not even seen the first one.
What's that, Jason?
I've probably not even seen the first one, to tell you the truth.
Oh,
no. Showed in school.
I would. Well, Monty Python. Well, okay, Danger Mouse. I think I remember watching Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse, and then Monty Python. It took me a while to get the humor, especially in senior high. Now that's funny to me. Especially Monty Python, Holy Grail. That for me is like my Monty Python film. Yeah.
I'll tell you an English comedian who you'd probably watch, and you'll either get him off the bat or you'll be like, what? Stuart Lee. Fantastic comedian. I love Stuart Lee.
Okay.
He's brilliant.
But it is a very, very, my missus isn't a fan of Stuart Lee, but then a lot of Americans love and equally hate, but he's got a lot of love is Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais's humor is just sick. When I say sick, I'm like, it's awesome. Do you know what I mean? But no, if you watch someone like Stuart Lee, like I see, there's like when Netflix. I mean, I think he's been. Is what is it they call it now? Cancelled. Was that Louis C.K. Mush cancelled? Cancelled. Don't know what he did.
He made a comeback.
Don't know what he did. Don't. I'm not too worried. But I watched some of the Netflix specials, and I'm not knocking American humor because it's individual to its own country. But such a different style.
Oh yeah,
such a different style to. Humor doesn't always. But mind you, saying that, you got I sent Michael out Stuart Lee DVD I had kicking around spare because another copy of it, and there's certain comedians where I think they go down well, and others do you get what I mean? English chat in the chat, do you get what I mean by I don't know if Stuart Lee would be the first English comedian you'd want to give to someone in another country because it's very
I mean, they would probably watch him and think, is he supposed to be funny? And it's like, well, no, he is. He's actually really funny. He's actually really clever. But unless you're on that particular wavelength and you understand. I mean, he's so sarcastic and so dry, but in a sort of almost a condescending way, isn't he?
And he's great.
I can see that people wouldn't get him. I think he's brilliant. I think he's fantastic.
I shouted out at I've done it a couple of times at his gigs. I've been to a few of them, and I shouted out. I I know you think, oh, there's always some arsehole that shouts out, but you having experience. I mean, he deals with hecklers, but he said something that basically he was talking about a guy called Dappy from a band called the N-Dubs over here.
Right.
And he said he's talking about Dappy, and I just shouted out, he's a cock.
Yeah.
And he went on this big, long 5-minute thing about, I know that. I was going to tell the rest of it, but I'm not going to tell it now. And he kept telling the audience it's a really good joke because of him. I'm not going to tell it. And I'm like, I should just tell the joke. He's like, no. And the whole way through. And we got to the end of the gig. He's like, so his usual sarcastic self. He's like, well, you missed a joke because of him. But it was, everyone's laughing because it's just like, he handles it. I guess you had to be there, but it was very funny all round the way he did it. You know.
No, he is good. He is very good. I think I've got everything he's ever done. I
saw him.
I've been following his career since basically he was doing like Fist of Fun and that sort of thing.
Have you seen his latest stand-up? He did
Snowflake Tornado.
Yes, I think it was that one. If it's the very latest one, there's just this bit in it where he's making this really bizarre noise, and he just does it for ages to the point it's like it's hilarious. Then it's uncomfortable, and you're like, "Oh, why is he still doing this?" And it just gets funny again because it's like, just testing your resolve. But like we were sat in front of us. We had an old couple with another couple with them, younger couple, and they sat through the first half. They never came back for the second half, and you just think,
"Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's not worried. He got paid."
Some people just don't seem to fall in step with him. I think he's absolutely genius.
I think a lot of people don't get on with him because he doesn't tell jokes. Really, they're not jokes as such.
No,
they're just
and he deconstructs everything, doesn't he? You know, he'll tell you, he'll say something amusing that might take 15 seconds, and then he'll spend the next 10 minutes deconstructing it and telling you exactly why it's funny.
Pear cider made with 100% pears. You're laughing because you know the whole bit.
Lads, I've got to go. So I've seen what time it is, and I've got to get up in the morning. Probably also you rest have. So
thanks, man.
But it's really nice actually meeting you on live as well, Nick. I can just about see the writing because I ain't got my glasses on. My cat turned up yet.
Glamour light on, there you go.
There, hang on. See, you're getting old. You have to start wearing fees, you know. I mean, now, Stu, if you ever watch this channel at some point, because I know you do, but keep your glasses nearby, mate, because they always come in handy. They do. But it's been great chatting to you. And I was only going to come on for an hour. I was
going to jump on for 15 minutes.
Sticking around,
here we are.
But that's what happens, isn't it? You like we said early on, we're all friends. Good. You turned up. I can shut the window now. My cats just came in. So then we're a great lot of lads, and we enjoy it. And it's like being at a pub, but we're all at each other places.
Yeah.
And we're not pissed.
And I think my cat's saying to me, "Yes, all right. Okay, you want to go on camera then, do you?" There we are.
It's looking for more worshippers.
Don't show your pencil sharpener.
Oh, she does. She's a naughty cat, ain't you? Hey, yes, love you too. I know you want some. She wants some foodies. So she's been naughty, being out. Right, later all. Better go before she eats my ear, and I'll speak to you all later.
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Jason. Okay.
Well, we got to see up his cat's fundamental orifice then.
Oh no, you beware the overlords.
thought it was one of those tea towel holders with the rubber bunny. Just the tea towel. Oh dear. My cat's. Oh, I think my cat's coming. Are you coming over, Billy? Are you
Do you think there's a correlation between toy collectors and cat owners? Because I find that there's a heck of a lot of toy collectors have cats.
Well, I don't want to use too bad. As if you've seen me on other streams, depending on the stream, I've got a potty mouth on me. But yeah, I think what it is we're all freaking nuts. That's the correlation.
Well, I'm looking into getting a dog. Actually, I work remotely, so that kind of helps. Because that was my biggest concern about getting a dog, because dogs are reputably, I don't know if it's true, but they're more needy than cats. They want their owners to be around. So if I wanted to work in an office, no, that wouldn't. Not really. Oh.
I don't know if you want to hold the cat like that.
He loves it. He loves it.
He goes,
that's brilliant. He looks like a musical instrument.
Yeah, he does. He goes.
He is look at him. He is happy as they come.
He goes. Oh, I've got competition for worshippers. Got to change that up.
Oh, I don't know where my cat's gone. Oops. He's off somewhere.
No, Tim. What it is with cats, right? Sometimes, mate, they like they love stretching out. They love a stretch.
And so they like to explore with their
Look
paws.
how long he is.
He's a year old in a couple of days. Sorry,
young cat.
Retroblasting would talk about his cat, where it's pretty much doors locked to his display, because the cat will be the curious cat that a lot of them are. They'll knock down his display. So it's like,
I have got shorts on, by the way. Just shit.
That's all. That's all good. If Tim's cool with that, I'm cool with it.
And I see a tattoo on one of your legs.
Oh yeah, I got tattoos all up. Are you trying to fight me now, Bilbs?
So it's like you were talking about
gonna
tattoos.
Wrestle your hand. He's gonna fight your hand. I don't think he wants to be on camera now. He looks like he's mad about something.
He tries to suckle my finger. He was a rescue cat. He was found starved on the farm.
Oh wow.
Little baby.
That photo you posted of him sitting on top of the door was amazing.
He is just nuts. I mean, honestly, look at this. He's not hurting me. He's just got my finger in his mouth. He's just sort of there's not hurting me at all. But if I go to pull my hand away, look, he's like, no. And he will lie like that for ages.
Oh, what's he called?
Billy. We didn't name him. He came with a name because he already answered. Can I have my hand back, Bill? Can I have my hand back? Give me 5. Okay, give me 5.
Oh. He's excellent.
So long story short with Bill, I had a black cat who he passed away a year ago, August. I was devastated. He was my baby. He sat with me all the time. And then my mum said to me, "Oh, Paula's cat rescues. They've brung a kitten in. He was 3 weeks old. They found him on a farm staff, so we think he might have been from like a feral litter or something.
Yeah,
he needs a home. I'm not having another cat. I can't deal with that. Send me a picture." And here he is. You're not chewing my lead. Because of you, I've had to buy several pairs of these off of Timo so that when you chew through them, I've got spares. Yes. So yeah, that's Billy.
Cool.
Sorry.
He's cool. Yeah, I do think that a lot of toy collectors have got cats. So it does seem to be quite a common thing. I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is about the hobby, but it seems to attract cat owners.
Mate, if you're into toys, you're going to attract the pussy. That's all I can say.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Sorry. True though. I got him. I've got the ginger one out there. Old Ginger's 16 now, Aussie.
Oh.
He walks around like a little old man. Don't you love it when cats look grumpy? He looks grumpy. He walks around like, meow.
Well, my cat doesn't really look grumpy ever. She's pretty cool, but I think she's about 15 or 16 now, something like that.
Yeah, they, you know, right. If he keeps doing this, I will turn the camera because he's got a full-sized human bean bag. That's his bean bag, right? But he kicks himself in the head, right? He kicks himself in his own head and gets pissed off with himself and starts biting himself for doing it. I'm like, what are you doing? I just don't get him.
Andrew's saying he's got to head off now. Thanks for stopping by, Andrew. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Have a good night or good kip.
I'm gonna shoot on in a minute, to be fair, lads, because I need to get some sleep. And I was popping on for 15 minutes, and I think I've been on for the best part of 2 hours now. So hopefully I've not been too annoying.
Don't forget, reach out to me in the week if you want the lowdown on the auction sniper.
Yes, please, mate. I'd love to. Certainly need to get that sorted. And again, thanks for having me on. I hope I've not overstayed my welcome. It's just been fun chatting. Enjoy a good chat, and it's been a nice. It's been a nice chat because you lot, but it's also been really nice because I haven't got a phone set up with a Chromebook there and this there, and it's like just this. Oh, this is so much easier. She's done this a long time ago.
That's why, ills and all, I still appreciate having my desktop PC, even though it's in a giant case. I can move things around, and I can upgrade things if I need to upgrade things. So.
Well,
at least I have. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. I know I said I was going to go, but so my brother-in-law's been on at me for ages going. This laptop was a reasonable amount, shall we say, and but it was interest-free for 2 years, so I was like, jump straight on it because I thought, well, why give him the money now? I can pay it off over time. But my brother-in-law was like, I can't believe you paid that for a laptop. Do you know what power PC I could have built you for that money? I said, yeah, but here's the problem, mate. I said, I've got nowhere to set up a PC at home.
Yeah,
right.
I don't have the space to do it. I live in a very small house, so this is perfect because I can close it down, put it in its case, and away it goes. It's not.
Yeah.
right.
But it's just what there's always it's modern. Well, not that my house is modern. It's a couple 100-year old, but you live in small spaces. You have to. I can't always have a. I'm literally on the desk it's on is a camping desk. It's a fold-out desk. Fold it out, set it up, boom. When I'm done, folds away, goes in the cupboard back there. Happy days. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a moving venture with a friend of mine months ago. And all the while I'm hauling stuff up 3 flights of stairs. Like, dude, you brought so much stuff. And then I go back to myself, dude, I gotta find a way to minimize my junk because I'm not gonna move a lot of, because what I have right now is it's a godsend. I'm thankful I can afford to live where I do. But even though that is the case, I wish I can go back to a reasonably Spartan method because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe it's because I don't want the pain of loss. It's like, oh my God, my bookshelf and all my books. Like, that's, I don't know. There has to be a way to do an elegant Spartan way of living where you could be mobile and adaptable if circumstances forces you. Well, for if I get priced out of my apartment, okay, I'm going to do some shopping and find things that can help me move either by myself or look into possibly hiring movers, because that was my main thing about, well, maybe I don't need all these things, number one, but if I have to move, it's either I downsize methodically or I hire movers. And I have to weigh the cost of doing one or the other. If I
So
somehow
we're looking to move in the next year or so from here to somewhere else, right? And I've got a very simple philosophy when that day comes. I'm going to hire a big skip. And everything in the loft that I've not looked at and not cared about for the last 10 years is going in the skip. Everything amounts to it. Because if I hadn't missed it, if I hadn't used it, well, why am I hanging on to it? The only reason it's up there is because at the moment it's just aggro to get rid of it. So when the time comes, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be throwing away Ming vases and childhood toys, but I'm just talking stuff that we go, oh, I'll put that up in case I need that. Because we're all terrible for doing that. And really, we should just get rid of stuff. But on that note, gentlemen, I've done my famous double goodbye, where I say goodbye and then I talk for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave you gents to it. And I'm going to say thank you so much for having me on. And I'm going to go brush my teeth and go up the Wooden Hill to Bedfordshire.
Cheers, then,
Thanks
Nick.
for stopping
I'll speak
by,
to you in a
Nick.
week, man.
I'll chat to you soon, man. Thanks so much for having me on. See you all again.
No worries. More than welcome. See you later.
I'll email you about that thing, dude. Chat to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers, bye. Cool. Well, should we think about wrapping it up as well, Tim? We've been going for a full 3 hours now.
Yeah, it's been it's almost over 3 hours. So, do you mind if we end now, Lester?
Not at all. Not at all.
It's been 3 hours and a minute long, so I'm going to end the chill stream for this week. So,
thanks to everyone that popped into the chat. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jason. Thanks to Lester. Thanks to Nick. And thanks, of course, to Tim, the wonderful Tim, for hosting us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Monkey Boy, since you inspired this. So I did this at first mainly for you, but then I decided to invite everybody else in the YouTube community.
Oh, well, that's nice. Thank you, man.
All right. Anyone still watching? Peace out and have a good one. Till next time.
Cheers, man. See you later.
Okay,
thanks,
so
Gerard.
I'll
Cheers,
end.
Gerard. Thanks for stopping by.
I'll end the stream.
Thanks to Santara. Thanks to Andrew. Thanks to Gerard.